Well, I've basically decided that I can make it better.
All right, the $6 million Alpha Smart, so
Mhm.
to speak.
So I have been soundproofing it, and it actually sounds pretty good now.
Oh,
Oh,
And my next step, probably Monday, I'm going to have some warm white battery operated LEDs come in, Amazon, and I'm going to install them inside and tap off the batteries and make a backlight.
wow. So are you going to do a video about all this?
Oh, I don't know about a video.
I
but
think
I'll
you
probably
should.
do a blog
I think,
post.
yeah, there's at least there's a number of Alpha Smarties on the internet that would like to see a video.
Uh-huh.
So
Well, I'm doing a video right now, so
there you go.
there you go. Maybe Gregory, you can excise this. You have to make an edit out of all this and make a little how to do.
Exactly.
How to.
Yeah.
I guess I should show the lighting of the cigar, the
Yes,
ritual,
Yes.
the torch.
I was at a party yesterday, and a guy was smoking a cigar there, and it reminded me of my very, very brief days of smoking cigars.
very brief.
Very brief.
Well, the story with me is that both my dad and my stepmother smoked cigarettes like chimneys. And the classic story that I tell is they would stick us three boys in the back seat of the station wagon. We go for a Sunday drive, and they would be smoking this for just nonstop, and the whole car would be full of smoke. Right, so we were pretty much exposed to tobacco smoke as kids. But then my grandpa, though, smoked cigar. He was a cigar smoker. He smoked pipe cigars and he chewed tobacco, and typically chewed while he was smoking either a pipe or a cigar. But I always remember the smell of the cigars, my grandpa's cigars. It was always a pleasant smell. So
yeah.
I can blame my parents and grandparents, although I have to take personal responsibility, of course, ultimately.
No, nobody ever has to take personal responsibility.
Oh no.
This is
anybody
America.
watching with Merca, anybody watching out there, don't do this. But if you're going to smoke a cigar. You don't inhale them, at least, right?
There you go.
Oh, hey, here's a little what do you call it? Let's see if I can put that on the screen.
Happy face, little.
Yep,
that's funny.
Yeah,
a little Easter egg inside the motherboard of the Alpha Smart. It says "Rise and shout, the Alpha Smart's out."
Oh, that's funny.
Designed by Joe Barris and Brad Dow.
Wow.
Oh.
Wow.
I can add that to my little list of surprise Easter eggs on motherboards.
Yeah, I love that one.
That's pretty cool.
Hey, that could be made into a T-shirt.
I suppose it could.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, nobody would know, get the reference, but that's okay.
Let's see.
Hi, Kelsey.
Hi.
It's literally an inside reference.
Yeah, exactly. Inside the case.
Yeah.
And Bob, how are you?
Morning. I am great. Life is good. I'm playing with an electric typewriter today. These are exciting things.
Yes. Good for you, Bob.
Good to see you, Joe. Haven't seen you in a few weeks.
Good to see you too. I know. I've been just busy, other things going on, but I figured today was a good day to just relax and get on the Type Club.
Yeah. Sitting on the front porch area.
Yes, I am, and this is my breakfast cigar. I haven't even had breakfast yet. I'm just decided, if this is interesting weather. I don't know how you guys. We had a really windy day yesterday here in New Mexico, and it was just like 40, 50 mile an hour wind and dust everywhere. Then this morning I get up, it's beautiful, just cool, and the mornings are always the best time here in New Mexico. You have to be an early morning riser to enjoy the weather. I had a friend that had worked like swing shift, and he always got up, or never got up before noon. And he always complained about Albuquerque was just windy all the time. Well, you get up in the afternoon and the evening when it's the windiest part of the day. The sun has been heating up the air for. If you get up early in the morning, right around sunrise, it's beautiful. It's like Southern California, cool kind of,
Right.
The desert kind
Right.
of climate. Anyways,
Well, it's a lot nicer, and we've been real lucky here in Riverside, but the weather's been perfect. I haven't had my
Yeah.
AC or heater on in weeks. And you can run all day and not get too hot. Maybe there's a little overcast. This morning the sun is shining. You can see it shining on my face
there you go.
through my garage door. My garage door opening. My garage door is one of the old slider doors, so it's got just a little opening on top.
Yeah.
That's where it's sliding. That's where it's shining through. But anywho, yeah, there's a lot. Yeah, I've been real busy cleaning up and having fun cleaning up all my motorcycle stuff. And so I've been wrenching on motorcycles lately, which has been great. I was able to do some service on some of my bikes, and so my hands are just caked in grease. My fingernails. I'll have to wash them when I get a chance. But I think that there's a lot of excitement for that for me when the weather's pretty. I can ride or wrench on motorcycles, and it's both equally as rewarding. So yeah, I haven't really played with too many typewriters lately. But this electric jobber is fun. It's an IBM executive, and it needed a new Powerball. Bill was kind enough in Mesa when I was there to trade me a Powerball and a few other things. So I was laughing and hauling butt across the desert with a bunch of typewriter parts in my motorcycle tank bag next to my gloves and stuff like that. I thought, boy,
Power roll.
this is ridiculous. But yeah, this is one of the power rolls. Yeah.
Smuggling
Bill was kind
typewriters to
enough
Phoenix.
Right, exactly. Yeah, he was kind enough to trade me out some cool stuff for that. Because it's an executive, so it really kind of deserves it in my opinion.
Yeah.
But it's 40 pounds of monstrosity. I don't even pretend to know how to. I feel like I'm working on an old Fender amplifier.
An old Fender
Rock and
amplifier?
roll, from back in the day. Oh, like an old Fender amplifier?
Like a twin
Yeah,
reverb?
I ran a guitar and amplifier. Say what?
A twin reverb?
Right, exactly. A twin reverb with dual 12s,
Yeah.
100 watts, 4 6L6s, and 5 preamp tubes. Yeah, I did tube technology in my amplifiers, so I got the really big amplifiers from people, 40, 50, 60 pound amplifiers. And it really was good business, but I was 19, 20, 21 then. I was a lot younger, so throwing the amplifiers around the shop it was a lot easier than.
You were young and needed the money.
Yeah, I've got it. Yeah, right. I've got it sitting on a towel so I can just kind of coast it around my bench here. But boy, working on these big electrics is something else. And I was talking with my partner in LA about that. Like, there's no reason for me to work on IBM Selectric because there's so many qualified people. I watched Bill rip into one in front of a customer when I was there, and he had that thing apart in 32 seconds. And I just thought I can never be that good with an IBM Selectric. And there's a few good people.
Well, you can specialize in typewriter electrics, maybe.
Here, and there's one in Anaheim, one in Los Angeles, and these guys. That's a good. Did you say hyper electric?
No, I said you could specialize in type bar electrics instead of selectrics, right? Yeah, type bar electrics.
Right,
yeah.
Right.
They're going to be the next hot thing, in the typewriter world, I think.
I think
Well,
so.
I believe you, and I've even purchased a few, thinking that there'll be a market, especially for the young people. I don't know if you mentioned that on here, Joe. If you mentioned it in one of your videos, or I think you're right.
I think I'm probably partly responsible for trying to promote typewriter electrics, but I think there's a new crop of typewriter people that are not less interested in the classic old antique looking machines, and they're just more interested in functional typing, and they don't want to go to the trouble of getting their hand strength up to snuff for manual machines, and typewriter electrics to kind of fill the bill, right? They sort of the best of both worlds. I think there's a market for that, and a lot of those machines are undervalued on the used market. So,
yeah, I had to remember back to learning to play guitar. My first guitar wasn't electric, and it only took a year before I picked up an acoustic, but that was back in the late 80s, and the new power ballad had come out. So it was important for me to learn how to play acoustic guitar, but it was a totally different animal. A lot of my friends thought I was crazy because electric guitars were so much easier. So I'm trying to compare the two in my mind, right? and I can play a big 12-string electric and think nothing of it. I realize I have a lot more dexterity than the next person, and finger strength and muscle and whatnot. I also use my pinky in playing bass guitar in my rock band these days, so there's a lot to that. I really appreciate all the conversations we've had about those things.
Oh yeah.
Angela, how are you?
I'm fine.
Very good. Very good.
I only like electric typewriters that still have a manual return.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because that automatic return can be quite disconcerting.
Well, it just feels like cheating. I don't.
That's true. That's true.
With my fingers, but I still want to return it myself.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
I have to say I agree, but I'll take any typewriter that works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. You'll learn to type on it. You'll learn to rock it. There's a lot to that. And yeah, this executive, when I hit the return, I mean, it's a 20-inch carriage, so it slides. It is so fast and scary.
Oh my goodness.
Children will lose fingers. Coffee cups will fly. I mean, there's a little bit of danger to it, but there's so much cool engineering that went into this thing. I really give IBM just a ton of credit. I suspect once they lost the computer to take us to the moon, once they lost that contract, they just kicked butt and started making really exciting things. So it's pretty good. I did get some more. I was able to get some more. Just a quick commercial. The typewriter covers.
Ooh.
I was able to get some more in color. I'll have the black ones in 3 weeks. So that's really exciting. There was the one author here on this platform. I don't think she's joined yet. She was saying she really wanted purple, and that was the only color I could not get. So I'm
Natasha.
getting like red and green. And Natasha, right?
Yeah.
She said that was the only color I could not get. So I'm getting red and green and anything that I can print the white on, because my my ink sets are set for white. Anywho, it'll be exciting. We'll see how they go. And I'm currently looking for another. This company couldn't do it, but I'm looking for another company to cut a larger one that I can use for IBM's electrics. Anyway,
excellent. That's exciting news.
So are you printing those logos yourself then on the fabric?
Yeah. I just have them custom made, the towels from a place, and then because it's a weird size. And then I print them myself. I set it up and all in my dining room. It's kind of.
Is it like what do you call it? A silk screen process?
Yeah, I just silk screen them right quick, and it's a lot easier than you thought it would be. And I have, it's something I can do with my kids, and we end up with these things sitting all over the house to air dry for the night.
That's
and
cool.
I pop them in the dryer for a few minutes. But it works. It's something fun and exciting we can do, and there's not a huge profit margin in it, but if I can make a few hundred at a time, then I think it's worth it. But
yeah,
they're just something fun and quiche. Kitsch.
Well, I started using a towel a few years ago to cover typewriters, and it was just a kind of a decorative towel, had a nice pattern on it, and my wife wasn't using it. It's like, okay, this is perfect for typewriters. Although I was not sure at the time if how the weave of the towel isn't totally airtight or whatever. I wasn't sure if dust would get through eventually, because the dust can be really fine sometimes around here. But it's better than not having anything.
Definitely, yes.
Well, yeah, around here too, and I think that's a catch-22. So believe it or not, where Greg lives, just a few miles away, he doesn't get the dust that I get. I get the dust blowing off the mountain, that I'm under, Mount Rubidoux.
Yeah.
We don't think about it much, but if you go to my house and I haven't cleaned for a week, there's a layer of dust on everything. You go to
Yeah.
Greg's house, it looks very normal.
Right.
Just cat
Yeah.
hair from
Yeah.
when we had a cat.
Yeah.
Unless you have a cat, right? Or
Yeah,
dog.
we have a similar kind of a thing here. Like if you live on the west side of Albuquerque, it's usually a little dustier because
Yeah.
and also
Yeah,
if
you're
you
right
live
on
out on the edge of town where there's a lot of new construction and roads are torn up and empty lots, they've torn off the land, the natural weeds and natural vegetation. They leave bare sand. And it blows around. But
Yeah, this
yeah.
this was the tightest grain I could find in a towel for that to keep the dust off. Because I did have issue with a kitchen towel being too loose and dust getting in. So that was important. Whatever. It's very geeky, but it was important to me. So I was able to find a formula, and hopefully it works for other people too. But who knows?
Excellent.
I mean, they're selling. People like them for that reason. And my kitchen towels are back in the drawer instead of laying all over machines all over the living room and dining room and my office, whatnot.
You can use them for their original purpose again.
Yeah, it's very, very weird for a bachelor such as myself. Very, very strange. I did have a good friend contact me the other day from the East Coast, and she said, "Oh, I'm going to the Goodwill. What should I look for in typewriters?" I said, "Well, if they have anything that's $20-$30, just grab it. You'll always win." And she takes this picture 20 minutes later and sends it to me and looks it up. Looks it up on, thank God for the typewriter database. It's a 1938 Corona flat top, black, gorgeous, totally functioning. 1999. Oh my God.
Wow.
I guess
Deals are still out there.
that morning.
Yeah,
they're still out there. This was in Spartanburg, South Carolina. So yeah, they're still out there. I don't know how other people find them, and I do not. I guess other people look for them more than I do. But
when I travel, I try to go to every Goodwill I can find.
Yeah. Yeah, no, there's a lot to that, and there's nothing wrong with doing that. And I hit them on my motorcycle too, which it's always fun. Antique shops as well. I'm walking through antique shops and Goodwill's dressed like a pirate, and looking for good stuff. But, right.
Angela, do you have much luck at the thrift stores? Because here in Southern California, it's very difficult.
I have only found one at a Goodwill, and that was right here in my own, 25 minutes away. But I missed one Hermes 2000 at a restore, Habitat for Humanity restore, for the simple reason that I turned right when I went in instead of turning left. Else got there and saw it about, no joke, 20 seconds before I did. And it's been sitting there for 6 weeks, they said, and it was $75.
Oh man.
That reminds me, I went into a Goodwill.
Maine.
Yeah, I went into a Goodwill a couple of years ago, and there was a lady carrying a Olympia SM3 in burgundy color up to the counter. I just got there 5 minutes too late.
Yeah,
tackle her and knock her over.
Yeah, it was tempting. I could have taken her.
Could have taken her.
Good luck to her,
I really don't think that's fair. I mean,
No.
even driving to Joe's house, there's like 28 thrift stores between him and the highway. So I don't know what this is how Joe finds all his machines. There's so many thrift and boutique and vintage antique store. Joe, you have no excuse.
I know. And I haven't been looking on purpose because, it's just the temptation, right? Although I am in the market for another really good ultra portable. I just, I'm actually at the point where I might even buy one from a repair person that's been reconditioned or whatever. But I had a Calibri from Kevin that he basically gave to me, but I never could fix the skipping problem. It was never quite went away. And I think it was basically due to weak springs. There's a spring in the escapement rocker that was just weak. And so I'd be in the market probably for another Calibri if it was in really good shape. But you know, I'm kind of at the point now where I have my standard typewriters like my KMM and my electric Type R's are so nice, and the portables I do have, you know, that are really good, the Silent Supers and the Hermes 3000s and all that. I don't need any more of those, but I think another ultra portable. The only ultra portable I have right now is the Royal Mercury. It's a nice machine, but it needs the platen restored, and it's the left-hand platen knob is left-hand thread, and then you have to. You basically have to use a pair of pliers on it to get it off, and I can't do that because I've already, even with you know, like a channel lock pliers with some rags and padding, I can't loosen it without damaging the knob. So I need to put some penetrating oil or something there.
I used a small plumber strap on that Hermes the other day, that Hermes baby. Yeah, the super small plumber strap wrench. So
I may have to try that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'd like to get that platen off to JJ Short. That would really make it a nice completion of that machine. But
yeah. Oh, I did finally pick up a much bigger lathe, so I can do really big platens now.
Nice.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'll have to plug it in and get it all going. I know it works, but I just need room. And I mean, the sucker's 5 feet tall on its side. So
Wow.
So what kind of rubber stock do you use for lathing a platen?
well, all I'm doing is as long as the platen's good, and if it's just, you know, 95% or something, I'm just trimming. I'm trimming 0.5 millimeter down and getting it to the right size. There's some guy named Reverend Theodore Monk who puts a lot of good sizes of what the platens should be on his website, so that really helps. And so once I figure that out, you know, then I just rewrap it in heat shrink, you know, the 2-to-1, and that's had really good results. In the future, I might try double wrapping some of them. It really just depends on how much the heat shrink has to shrink. So that's how you get the hydrometer on the platen.
Well, that's cool. My wife and
I've been trying
grandson are
that.
just now heading out to the flea market, so maybe they'll find something.
Excellent.
There you
The
go.
flea
Are they
market is
taking
reopened.
yeah, are they taking his new car?
You know, they're actually taking, what are they taking? Maybe his big truck. I don't know. But yeah, his new car is cute. 64 Impala is his new car.
Yeah. Right. The true 6.4. I walked by that thing and I thought there's no way this thing's really, there's no way there's a 64 in Albuquerque. This can't be right. But that's what it was.
Yeah,
and I grew up driving a 66 Cadillac convertible. So I hung out with a lot of guys who had those, but the 64s were quite rare. They were very rare. So to have one in Albuquerque, good for you guys. To have your grandson.
Yeah. He
cool.
won that in a raffle.
Oh wow.
He had to pay, like, each ticket was $2,000 or something like that. And he won that car. Of course, we've had to put some money into getting things fixed, but you know, just the way it is. But it's a nice car. Anyways.
Well, he did good. Good for him.
Yep.
Hi Eric, how are you?
Good. How are you? How's everybody doing?
Good, very good.
Hey, Eric.
Hey, morning, Eric.
Morning.
I received your letter.
Oh, awesome.
I do have to say the wax seal did not survive. I guess in the process of them handling it, it was completely smeared. It's on there, but it's just completely smeared. But that's okay. I got to thinking.
Seems like sometimes that happens and sometimes it doesn't. It's weird.
Yeah.
I've received some that are in like pristine condition and then others that are not. So what were you going to say, Joe?
I'm sorry. So I got, let's see, my friend Ethan sent me a wax sealed letter from Albuquerque, just within the city, and he got it sent back to him because the wax seal was made the letter too stiff to roll through in the postal machine. So he just stuck it in another envelope and mailed it or something. I forget what he did. Maybe he put it in a bubbled envelope and mailed it to me. But anyway, I was going to send a wax seal letter, the same folded the same way that one there is, back to him. So I went down to the post office. I put a first class stamp on it, and I went down to the post office to hand cancel it, and they charged me an extra 22 cents for hand canceling a first class letter because it has a wax seal. So that's probably the official way to do that. They do it here in the States, is you have to get it hand canceled and pay an extra 22 cents of postage.
I've also heard that sometimes if you go into the post office, like they won't even, like if you ask them to hand cancel it, they won't do it.
Oh
Yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised actually.
Depends.
Yeah.
so I wonder
I've
if you could put 2 first class stamps on it and just try mailing it through the thing. Maybe not. Maybe because it has the wax, it won't roll through the automated machine. I don't know.
I've been trying to like use less wax with my seals lately, just to kind of make it so that it's a little bit thinner. That's probably the way to go too.
Yeah. You really didn't put much wax on this, so
No.
Yeah, I just got yours, and mine's completely pushed too. Yeah, it's
maybe it's because some of you live in hot areas and the mail truck gets too hot and they smear.
Maybe.
So, the purpose of wax seals, of course, originally was just to guarantee the security of the message, right?
Yeah.
You could tell if it had been opened or not. Well, they have that tamper-proof tape that they use on, like, the thing I could think of right off the bat is gas station pumps. Maybe I don't know in your state, but they have this sticker from the state, what inspection that says it's sealed up, and that you can guarantee nobody's put a credit card scammer on the gas pump. Anyway, there's some kind of little adhesive tape, plasticky adhesive things that maybe we could find that would seal up the envelope, but you could guarantee you could tell if it had been opened or not by it being torn, right? I mean, there's something like that. I know it's the whole point of wax seals for us is like an affectation, right? It's more of a tradition, right? But you could just tape the thing shut with Scotch tape and be done with it, I guess. But
yeah, I'm wondering if maybe it has to do with the type of wax that I was using too, because it's the supple wax. I wonder if it would be better if I got more like the rigid wax. I don't know if anybody else has any experience with different types of wax, but
I use the rigid wax.
Yeah,
it's pretty good. It doesn't smear at all.
I get this one here. I'm not sure what this one is. It's just from a place here in the city. This one does pretty well. And then the other one that I use all the time is just the cheap Amazon.
Oh yeah.
And they work fantastic. I don't think that any of those are more likely to crack than they are to smear.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Which is probably better.
Yeah.
I'll have to try that because it's weird because I just got a letter from Angela not that long ago too, and she used the same wax that I use, but it came in perfect. So
I haven't had any problem with yours either.
there's definitely a technique to wax sealing properly. Just get the right amount of wax, not too much, not too little, and making sure. Like one of the problems I had was when you're doing the letter fold technique, to make the letter into an envelope. Sometimes that little flap wants to curl up, and you get a little gap underneath it. And when you try putting wax on it, the wax kind of goes underneath it, and so you have to kind of make sure it's flat, like weight it down with something heavy, and make sure it's on a flat surface. Because the other problem I had was I had it angled or something. I think I was using a binder clip underneath it to clip the flap shut, and that made the letter angled. And then when I put the wax on it, ran down. So you have to make sure it's all level and everything. And then it's like the right amount of time, like 1 or 2 seconds. If you leave it there too long, it'll stick to the thing, and if you don't do it enough, it won't mold right. So anyways,
there's a real art to it.
There is.
I think another problem that maybe I had too with the ones that recently got smeared was probably I was using a different seal that I found at an antique store, and it's smaller, so the wax tends to pool up a little bit more like around it, and it also doesn't have as deep of an impression. So it's probably more likely to smear because there isn't any really any definition to the actual impression. It's just kind of it's really faint, and so it just kind of it just looks like a dome with a faint eminent, but it probably smears more because it just ends up being more wax around the edge of it.
Yeah. Well, I was trying one of my plastic 3D printed, resin printed little seals that Ethan made, and I made the mistake of leaving it on the hot wax too long. And when I did that, I pulled it off, and the hot wax completely stuck to this resin printed seal, and now it's totally ruined. I'm gonna have to maybe get a little razor knife and try to carve out the wax from inside that thing. But it's plastic, right? And the whole point of the seals is they're made of metal. And so as soon as they hit the hot wax, they suck the heat away from the wax and make it cool off, right? Yeah. So, but when you're using resin printed plastic, it's against wax, the two materials are very similar to each other. So there you go.
Yeah. So this is that other wax seal that I found to kind of show the difference in size. I don't know if Gregory can make me big.
Make him big.
I will make you big.
Embiggen him.
Go.
So you see the difference in size.
Yeah.
And it's upside down. And the impression is it's not very deep. And so when I press it in, I also tend to press a little bit harder because I want to make sure the M is visible. But then the wax kind of like just builds up around it instead of kind of like spreading out like with this one. So I think that might be why some of them are smearing too, because it's just the wax is all concentrated into one spot, and it just kind of goes.
Yeah.
So I started doing a technique where when I'm use a lighter and I'm dribbling the wax onto the paper in a little puddle, then I take the tip of the wax stick and I try to rub it in a circle and try to make it a little flatter and get it larger in diameter just for the right size before I seal it. But that's a trick. I mean, it's a technique because you could smear it too thin and then it's not going to stick, right? You don't have enough wax. So it's a real art to it, to practicing how to do it properly.
Yeah, what I've been doing is I've just been putting the wax stick right into the candle and just kind of nice.
Oh, nice. Yes, that's a nice one.
Yeah, I just putting the wax stick right into the candle and then smearing it directly onto the envelope that way. And that seems to get a pretty good even covering.
Yeah.
One thing I did learn is don't use a cigar torch. They're a little too powerful. You'll catch your letter on fire.
Fire. With the waxes that are like the candles, I've actually had that happen where the wax will catch on fire and then you've got flames shooting up from your letter.
Oh boy.
The hazards of letter writing.
I know.
Letter sealing.
Letter sealing, yes. So how many of you guys are doing the envelope method with your letters, folding them into their own envelope? Are you guys doing that now?
Nope.
No.
I started doing it. I really like it.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, not yet. I got a really good letter the other day from Everito with Austin Typewriter Ink, and his was set up where you cut out the sides and you can make a fold over and etc. And I need to. He sent me the template on it. I need to do that. I've got the know-how, and it would be a lot of fun. But I just haven't grown up that much yet. And it's so nice to receive them from Eric as well. So I'll be there someday myself.
Yeah.
Hey, look, we got Sammy Haggard on the line.
I know.
That's you, William.
Yeah. Oh. Let's see. Oh, Brandy, how are you?
I'm doing well.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah,
go ahead.
I don't have a new typewriter this week, which means I still have a home to live in. I did. My first Type Pal letter came from Matthew, who's on the
Nice.
line today. And I am very, very proud and pleased that I have written him back.
Yay.
Very, very happy. And this is on my new Adler Primus. I do have a little question for everybody. And this is something, being newer to typewriters, I sometimes have trouble deciding whether a problem I'm having with the typewriter is my own typing, or it's actually a mechanical problem with the typewriter.
Always blame it
And-
on the typewriter.
There we go, problem solved. But one thing, and it happens on 3 of my machines, and it's this strange misalignment that only happens randomly at the beginning of a line. It happens with different letters, but the same letter might happen once and then not happen again. And I can show you.
Does the line start a little high and kind of drop down to in position?
Yes.
Okay.
What?
Yeah. So that can sometimes be, the line spacing ratchet. There's a gear on the left side of the platen knob inside that has a tooth in it. There's a little arm with a roller that actually does the line spacing. It's as you're turning the knob, the little spring-loaded roller is supposed to fit it in between the teeth of that little gear, right? And sometimes it can be either caused by grease and stuff like that, or it can be even that the teeth of the gear is worn down, but it doesn't want to securely go from one tooth to the next tooth when you do a carriage return, and it advances that gear. So you want to clean that sprocket gear, clean those teeth out really well, and make sure that little spring-loaded arm with the roller is really engaging in the center of that gear properly. But my friend Kevin had one machine where he had to take a really tiny file, like a little tiny file, and actually file the teeth down on that to make the teeth of that gear sharper. They were kind of rounded off on the tips of them, and the roller wasn't really going into the next gap between the next teeth evenly. And that's just due to wear over, decades of use.
Okay, thank you.
Another way to check that is turn the platen slowly with your right hand and feel how positive the click, click, click is. If it feels a bit mushy, then or a bit tight, then the platen itself isn't rotating as freely as it should. So the roller isn't detenting into the ratchet gear properly.
Yeah. So it may be the where the platen rolls on the shaft, it may be a little greasy and sticky, huh?
If you, now on every typewriter, or at least most of them, there is what's called the line finder, where a lever that actually disconnects that roller. If you disconnect that roller and then move the paper release to release, you should be able to spin the platen, and it should spin freely a couple of turns by itself. If it stops quickly, then the platen itself isn't spinning freely enough for the detent roller to properly index in the ratchet teeth.
Yeah.
Is that about right there, Joe?
Yes, that's good. Very good. That reminds me, though, that this is another thing I discovered, and I mentioned probably in a previous video of mine, is on some of the machines I had, and maybe it was my Hermes Rocket with a tiny little carriage return lever that was really an afterthought. I got into the habit of doing a carriage return by pulling the right knob and then twisting it 1 click or 2 clicks, however many lines I wanted to go. And it actually got to be, I really enjoyed doing a carriage return that way, typing and then just pull the carriage. My tablet keeps falling over, pulling the carriage and then clicking it yourself with the right knob instead of using the lever on the left. I don't know. Try it. Maybe that might help too.
Hey, Joe, I know what you need is a box that you can set your iPad in.
Yeah, no, what I need is a less bony knee to balance it. That's the problem is I have my legs crossed and I'm balancing it up on top of my bony legs.
Ah,
I don't have a table in front of me is my problem.
On a Remington Bantam, that's the only way that you can advance, because it has no carriage return lever.
Yeah.
On the Bantam.
Well, it's surprisingly easy to do. You know, you think it would be kind of not as convenient, but I find it's pretty convenient to do a carriage return that way.
Either that, or after you've done the carriage return with a lever, just check with your right hand, make sure it has engaged.
Make sure it's in the detent. That's a good thing too. Yeah.
So a few different suggestions from a couple of different.
Yeah, but it's interesting that she has more than one typewriter that has that problem. So it could be maybe they all just needed to be cleaned a little bit more and degreased, maybe, so that the platen roller rolls a little easier.
Yes, also the feed rollers, if they are not spinning as freely as they can almost work like a brake to stop the platen from rolling.
If you have flat spots, spots on your feed roller, that could be another issue, right? Yeah, very good point.
Okay. Well, thank you very much.
Yeah.
So it's not user error.
Probably not. Although there are some, mechanical problems that are exacerbated by the way the user interacts with it, right? Like you'll notice on some small portable typewriters, there are some typing techniques that work better for them than other larger office typewriters are a little more forgiving of poor technique, for instance, right? So with an ultra portable typewriter, the question is it me or is it the machine? It could be both, you know.
Yeah.
You are not defective.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
What I and several other typists have found is if the typewriter skips a space after the letter A at the beginning of the sentence, it's because you don't have very much strength in your pinky finger.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
What I've taken to doing is to use my left ring finger to hit the Q, A, and Z.
That's good.
There's a little more strength on it.
That's a good trick. It really is.
Yeah. And Matthew, how are you?
I'm doing well. I actually have a new one that I haven't even had time to dive into yet. I've got a
Skywriter.
Yep.
A new Skywriter.
Our brother.
Looks like.
I've been doing some pen repair.
Ah.
I got this guy.
4A series. No, sorry, a 4Y series.
Yep. England.
Made in England.
Yep.
Looks like a nice machine.
So, yeah, everything seems to be working okay on it. Nothing's sticking, but I've got to order in for a new ribbon on it, and hopefully that'll come in soon.
Excellent.
So, but yeah, nice. I've been messing around with pen repair, and I've got my desk a mess with probably, I don't know, 60 pens all over the desk, and all of them in different stages of taking apart. And I've also been messing around with quills and fun stuff like that. So
nice.
So, Matthew, quick question on the Skywriter: are these spools metal or plastic on your machine there?
They are. Pull back out.
If they're metal, hang on to them.
Definitely.
The spools on the inside. They are. They are the metal ones.
Nice.
Ooh,
right on.
Both of the Skywriters that I have the metal spools.
Very good.
And are you familiar with how to change ribbon on those spools?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Yep.
Excellent.
That little clip on the inside can be somewhat frustrating to the uninitiated.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely was on the other one.
Very good. Well, that's a nice addition, Matthew.
Yeah, that's, I don't even know how many that makes. 14, I think.
Okay. Very good. Very good. And Natasha, how are you?
All right, how you doing? Hey, everybody.
Very
Hey
good.
there.
Very good.
Hello.
Well, I did get another typewriter. It's on my Insta. I'm just going to show the picture because I don't want to have to pick it up. There it is. It's a
Olympia B12.
yeah, and I actually got the original receipt for it from 1985.
Oh wow. Oh,
It's
it's a little blown out, but
I'll pull it up. But I also I have
So,
Go ahead.
sorry. Natasha, the B12s came with a choice of 3 different fonts. Do you know if that one has the Pica, the Elite, or the Cursive?
Not the cursive.
Okay,
I think it's just the Elite.
okay. The one I have has Pica,
You know
and
what?
the interesting thing about the B12 is that they advance the ribbon just the right amount, so you can use a carbon film ribbon without wasting ribbon.
oh.
Okay.
Nice.
But I got another issue with it though, where the cursive, and it could be the fact that I switched the hold on, I'm sorry. Look at this. Just to test it out, I used other spools instead of the original. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
that could be why. But then it was doing it before I switched them. When the first capital letter of a word, it will be lower than the rest of the word.
That's the exact opposite problem to what we're just talking about.
Yeah, I heard. Yeah.
Yeah. So your detent lever is moving the platen beyond the ratchet detent, so then it's falling back into the ratchet, back into the detent,
Is this,
as opposed to falling ahead into it.
is it the first letter of a word or of a line?
First letter of the word.
Of every capital lettered word or every line?
The word itself. Hold on. Let me put this.
Okay. That's interesting. So when you're shifting and making a capital letter on the first.
Okay. Let me find one real quick. You see the word berry right here. See how that's
Okay.
low?
Yeah.
That sounds like a shift problem.
Yeah.
Like the shift isn't going all the way down when it, or all the way up, something like that. It's getting stuck somewhere.
If it's not the cap, if it's not caps, I don't get the top of the words. You see how the words are kind of faded on the top?
Yeah. Okay. Yep.
So the type is off feet then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You need to do the
Both the
on-feet
motion and the feet. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it looks like you should adjust the lowercase to get the letters so there's no shading on the tops of them, and then adjust the uppercase so that it's lined up on the bottom of the lowercase. And there's little set screws underneath the machine that for doing both of those.
Okay, I'll look into that. And then here's the from 1985, was sold to a nun, I guess, his sister Luella.
Oh.
And it was
Miles.
$70 back then.
Montana, Miles City, Montana. Wow.
So that was pretty cool.
If you can get a hold of the book Typewriter Repair by Howard Hutchinson, it has a detailed page by page complete go through of the B12 in the last section, and you'll find that.
Let me write that down. I'm sorry. What was the name again?
Hang on, I'll go get the book. So I'll make sure I get it correct. Okay, you keep on chatting between yourselves.
The only problem with that book is it usually costs around $150 to $250.
Oh.
But I do have the Bible. I got the Bible.
I've actually scanned the Hutchinson books, so if you need that section, I can send it to you.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Like you did that other, that would be great. Thank you. I really appreciate you. But I also have a question for you too, Monk, on top of that.
Okay.
This may be a dumb question, but I'm gonna ask it anyway.
There ain't no dumb questions.
They're just dumb answers.
This ribbon, right? That's that correction ribbon.
Yep.
I got this out of the Olympia. So
And
I
you haven't
wanna-
burned it yet?
Say what now?
You haven't burned it yet?
But I was gonna spray on that WD-40. Would that destroy the white?
That will make such a mess, and it's definitely not worth it. You do not want those ribbons anywhere near your machine.
And I see
It's
where
just-
there's a bunch of white scraps
Yeah.
all in it too. It was
Mhm.
Yeah.
Those ribbons are the devil.
you know, I never used them, but it came with 3 of them. I was like, okay.
Oh my goodness.
And I put the black in there. So right now, all black. I don't want.
Yep.
But I was just making sure what I needed to do.
Take all them white ones and put them in a pile and set them on fire.
Now, about those ribbons, when they were brand new, were they much better and they just have not aged well? Is that it, or?
They weren't great at the beginning.
Okay.
And they haven't aged well, and they haven't been made in 30 years. So.
Well, yeah.
I've seen machines I bought from thrift stores that were obviously hadn't been used in decades, and they're full of that white powder. And so it was obviously flaking off that white powder when those ribbons were new back in the day. So,
Okay.
but I mean, I could see, you know, like, okay, we're keeping the typewriter repair shops in business by making the machines need to get cleaned more often, right? So maybe it was like a win-win. Maybe typewriter shops were selling them for that reason, right? I get more business.
Yeah. Exactly.
And I got 2 letters that are going out to you guys.
Nice.
He had sent me my first pen pal letter, and I'm so grateful to him for that. And Greg, I got one coming to you too. These are vintage folders. I'm not folders, but envelopes. So be looking out for them. And
I will.
Vintage, what do you call it? Stationery inside. So y'all will be shocked to see that.
Excellent.
The stationery is moving.
Yeah. Typewriter repair manual.
Well, I don't have to write this. Well, I guess I don't, because I get it from Mr. Monk there.
Yeah, just send me your email in the chat here.
I
and
will do it.
I will send it to you.
That looks like a well-loved copy. Yeah.
Indeed, it is. Yes. And
very good. So, Ted, are those? Is that particular book hard to find, or
it's not hard to find, but it's very expensive. There's usually 2 or 3 copies on eBay all the time, but they're all, over $150 usually.
Okay.
But I bought one and chopped it up and scanned it. So
yeah,
I made the sacrifice for all of you.
That's what we wouldn't have.
Yeah, is that still under copyright, Monk? Or are you able to sell repops?
No, it's under copyright.
Yeah, you double check that?
Yeah.
Okay, real good.
So.
Oh yeah, the copyrights are just now going into public domain for like 1926 or something like that.
Well, if you do a 75 year, I've been able to reach out to families and get a hold of them, and they're like, we don't care. So I get them to notarize that, and then you can repop things. But
yeah, that's true.
I'm surprised they haven't yet, but who knows, right? If there's money to be made, why isn't the family making money?
Yeah,
that's true.
Oh, there's the.
It'll all focus around Steamboat Willie. We'll be up for some new
Steamboat Willie.
Is that the? Yeah, that's the B12 there. Yeah.
Yes, it is. Yep.
That is my baby there.
Yeah. And I scan it for the archive. So if you're thinking about scanning it, don't bother, because I've already ruined my copy chopping it up and scanning it.
The interesting thing is that the We Are Memory Keepers typewriter is a Chinese clone of the guts of a V12.
Nakajima,
yeah, and I don't know if anybody have any contact with Tom Lucas, the typewriter man on Typewriter Talk, Luton, England.
Nope.
Okay. He used an interesting expression that the B12 was made by Nakajima out of Japan, and he says that Nakajima was the brown source factory of Japanese typewriters who made typewriters for all different companies but never sold any under their own name.
Yep. Well, they did under Nakajima ALL.
Right. Yes. Of course. Cinema.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it types really nice. Besides that, it feels great. I haven't had an Olympia before, so I just wanted to try one at a decent price, and there you go.
Yeah, the Japanese ones are good. The Chinese ones, not so much.
The B12 was built when Japan was in the full swing of their industrial revolution.
Mm-hmm.
They kind of did to the typewriter world what Honda, Datsun, Nissan did to the automotive world.
Mm-hmm.
Took it by storm and undercut the prices of all the others and built some damn good machines, I have to say.
Yeah, this one's a 1976.
Very good. Bill, how are you?
I'm doing good, thanks. How are you?
Excellent. Very good. Very good.
Hi, Bill.
Morning, Bill.
Everybody.
Any new typewriters or anything?
No, nothing new for me.
Okay.
Same old, same old.
Yeah. Excellent. And we have a new face joining us. Craig, how are you?
Good, thank you. How are you?
Very good, very good. Since it's your first time, did you just want to give us just a brief introduction to yourself?
Well, my name is Craig Provan. 63 years old. I live about 40 miles west of downtown Detroit. So we're still considered the suburbs of Detroit. And I saw Sid was on there, and I think he's down in Ann Arbor. I'm actually about 10 miles north of Ann Arbor. And so we're directly north of it. And that's, I've got a lot of hobbies of collecting a lot of stuff. So I'm pretty sure this is the wrong place for me. I play guitar. I've got 9 guitars, so that'll give you an idea. But I've only got 3 typewriters.
Room to grow
so far.
So, well, yeah, I'm trying to keep that down. I also collect fountain pens, like a lot of you do.
Nice.
And so I got a lot of similar things. I've kind of been binge watching a bunch of these videos you guys have been doing on the meetings. And I heard somebody mention something that I think it was Thor, was interested in getting his ham radio license. Well, I am a licensed ham.
Nice.
So that's another hobby of mine. I got too many hobbies is really what it boils down to. But I switched back over to typing. I had a old, it's still pretty new actually as far as it goes. A Sharp PA 3110 that I bought back brand new back in the mid 80s, I think it was. And it got very little use because the computers came into use. And I'm retired. I worked for the electric company here, local electric company. I retired 7 years ago. And I was in welding, essentially, is what I did. Everything I did was all around welding. I held every welding job they ever had. I went through an apprenticeship. I was a journeyman welder. I was a welding supervisor, got promoted to welding general foreman. And when I retired, I was a welding engineer. So at the end of my career, I did a lot of technical writing. So I was using a lot of Microsoft Word and, Acrobat and everything else to create PDFs and all kinds of things with that. And so anyway, what I found out after I retired and I was home and I was doing stuff, I realized that technology was making me dumb and lazy, or I should say dumber and lazier. And anyway, what ended up happening is I would just rely on Microsoft Word. If I accidentally hit something wrong, the spell check would catch it, My grammar was getting worse. And I just, when I would type in a misspelled word, I would always see the red squiggly line and I would just go and I would fix it. Well, by doing that, you stop the creative process in your mind and And if you're using the grammar check, now is it going to say what you really wanted to say in the first place? And so I went back to the typewriter, and I have yet to have a red squiggly line under anything, no blue squiggly lines, and it's working a lot better. I would misspell a word in Microsoft Word. If I misspelled a word, I would go and correct it. I would keep going, and I wouldn't spell it right the next time. And I was too lazy to go back to see how it was spelled the last time. So I would misspell it again. And it was just a big vicious cycle is really what ended up happening. And so the typewriters have actually helped me with that. And it's improving my typing skills because I slowed down to make sure that I type correctly. And I've also taken and learned to spell a little bit better. So
Fantastic.
That's really kind of the story behind me. I don't know. It sounds like I have a feeling there's a lot of people that are the same as me, but I think that sometimes the technology is fantastic. I like it. I still like taking and scanning what I type into my computer and then editing from there. And I've enjoyed doing that sort of thing and then going forward. And I find that to be a whole lot more helpful. So
Excellent.
Fantastic. You know, I was just reading, if you guys know a guy named Kevin Kelly, he's a technologist, he's a writer, he's done a lot of stuff, but he had on his blog a list of 99 things he's learned over the years. And they're all kinds of things. But one of the things he learned is writing or creating and editing are two different things, right? The creative process doesn't want you to stop to edit. So that's the great thing about typewriters is just put the words down on paper. Errors don't matter. You're in the creative mode. You just get the words down. Then you can edit later. And that's the fundamental problem with word processors that try to do spell check and grammar checking while you're creating is it distracts you from the creative process, you know?
Exactly. Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, Craig, do you have a favorite typewriter?
Probably my main one I use most of the time is the Sharp. It really is. It's an electric typewriter. It's very similar to using a keyboard. It's very light touch. It's just a simple one to use, and I tend to go with that one a lot. So that's the one I would say. I mean, probably my favorite. I have a 1946 Royal Arrow.
Yes.
And that's probably my favorite and my favorite to type on. And then I've got two QDLs, Royal QDLs. And the one I just got recently, and I bought it as a parts machine just so that I had the parts for it. So I figured it'd be a donor machine. And when it came, of course, the carriage is kind of, it isn't, all of the carriage wasn't there, but I knew it when I bought it. So like the return arm isn't there and the knobs on the end for the platinum aren't on it. And I knew that. And when I got it, I started messing with it and all dirty and everything else. This thing works fantastic. So I got a bad feeling that that's not going to be a donor typewriter. It's going to be probably repaired, unfortunately. So I'll be back looking for another donor.
Nice.
So the collection grows.
Yeah. Yeah. That's how it starts.
Well, we were just talking, Craig, a while ago about doing carriage returns without using the carriage return lever. In pulling the carriage to the right with the right platen knob and then twisting the knob to do the line advance. So maybe you can do that with that missing carriage return QDL.
Well, no, the knobs are missing also. So
okay.
I don't have the knobs either. But I can get the platinum set inside. They're solid enough that as I strike the keys, it's nice and solid, and the platinum looks really good shape. I can't imagine what the typewriter was that somebody was using the parts from on this, or what happened with it.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I got a really good price on it. I bought it on Shop Goodwill, and I think I paid total getting it to me and everything else. I think I paid $30 for it. So,
if you're handy with tools, you might even be able to make your own knobs, right?
Yeah,
know?
I've thought about that too. There's, like I said, it's fairly new and I really haven't done too much with it. I just have got it set off to the side right now. So I'll probably be looking into that and dealing with some of the things and some ideas with that. But yeah, I've been pretty good handy with my hands and everything for everything. I've got an old Corvette. I got a 77 Corvette. I heard you talking about the Impala a little bit ago.
Yeah.
And I have a 77 Corvette that I tinker with. It's a beautiful car. And I've had it for about 10 years and it's not stock anymore. I think I've doubled the horsepower in it, but that's what they're for. And being a 77, that was the third most popular year that they ever produced of the Corvettes. So I'm not really destroying any historical thing. It's not like a 63 with the split window or anything like that, So,
Right.
that I think I'd like to keep something like that stock if I had it, but I'm not out anything. And whoever gets the car next, whoever is the keeper of it, then will probably want to do the same thing as what I've done. So,
Well, there's the car right there.
Oh wow, that's beautiful.
Get.
Yep.
There we go. Wow.
Wow, that is absolutely a gorgeous car. My goodness.
Yeah, my grandson.
paint
Yeah, we
color.
have more cars than we have driveway at this point in our lives. So we look like a bunch of rednecks, but oh well. At least all the cars run.
Yeah, the only car I have in the garage is the Corvette. The other two that we drive all the time are out in the driveway. It's a different story in Michigan than it is there in where you're at.
Oh
But,
yeah.
I don't have some of the issues you have, and you don't have some of the issues we do. So,
Excellent. Indro, how are you?
I'm good. How?
There he is.
Oh, you remuted yourself.
He's back on.
Well, I hope everybody's fine. Everybody looks fine. So.
Yes,
Hi, Indro.
yes.
Andrew.
Very good. Very good. All right. Does anyone have a typing prompt? All right, Natasha.
All right, I'm gonna read it straight from my Remington, which is sitting here. My baby, my other one. I got too many of them.
Oh, nice.
Remington, yep.
I don't know what. A Remington writer, quiet writer.
Yes, yes.
All right, so let me read my prompt here. Let me turn the lights on by opening the window. Okay. So the day I was born. It appears that only one major event occurred on the day I was born, the Norrmalmstorg robbery, apparently famous for the origin of the term Stockholm Syndrome. The Norrmalmstorg robbery was a bank robbery and hostage crisis that took place at the Norrmalmstorg Square in Stockholm, Sweden, on August 23rd, whatever. It was the first criminal event in Sweden to take place on live television. Famously, the hostages bonded with their captors and actually protected them, despite the fact that the captors were repeatedly threatening to kill them, hence the term Stockholm Syndrome. The source of that is Wikipedia. Another thing I thought was interesting that happened on the day I was born, which was on a Thursday. My mother told me there was a 12-year-old girl in the birth ward also giving birth. To this day, I sometimes wonder whatever happened to that little girl and her baby. The guy who got her pregnant, who I am pretty damn sure was a full-grown adult, should have been hung from the highest limb, in my personal opinion. And that's it.
Excellent. Thank you. Very good.
Now, although I don't have a typing prompt, I always think of a quote. The Count of Monte Cristo cursed the day that he was born.
Yeah. Oh boy. So I was when I did the typing prompt, I was going to go the factual route but apparently absolutely nothing interesting happened on the day I was born. So I had to go the creative route. First of all, before I read it, I'll show you. I typed it on my latest acquisition. Oh,
wow.
Galaxy 2.
Yes. It's pretty dirty, but it's extremely functional. It works beautifully, actually. The ribbon is a little dry, but it works. So I just typed it with the original ribbon, and you can see there, it's pretty darn clear, considering it's an old ribbon. So let me.
So you didn't refresh it.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I need to buy a new ribbon anyway, so I'll probably just put a brand new one in there. Because I love it when a typewriter essentially works and you put a brand new ribbon in there, and then you kind of feel like it's a brand new typewriter.
Yeah, that's true.
So I'm probably going to do that. But yeah, so I typed this up. I went the creative route, so bear with me. All right. The day I was born, the world became just a little bit more weird. I mean, here I was, fresh out of the womb, already thinking about typewriters and their power as a communication device. Within my first 2 hours of taking a breath, I already foresaw not only their fall in popularity, but also their rise decades later. As a 3-hour-old, I was thinking about how typewriters are a solitary device, often leading people to sequester themselves for a distraction-free writing experience. Even at such a young age, I knew this was a problem. How would anything ever get done if people were hidden away with nothing more than a typewriter and a mug of the beverage of their choice? This naturally led to, in my 4th hour of life, the idea of all the typewriter people meeting each other face to face without even being in the same room or even the same country. This wouldn't be possible, however, without the critical part I played in the development of the World Wide Web, but that's a story for another time. Thank you. Yeah, so I definitely went the creative route. I usually do, I think, but it's just where my mind goes. I start writing something and then I find that my fingers just take over.
Oh yeah, that's the way it goes. I thought about going the creative route, but I was like, man, I want to see what really happened on the day that I was born, and I just went, with that.
Yeah, I looked mine up and it said these celebrities were born, and I'm like, I've never even heard these people.
Yeah.
So I knew I couldn't use that, and I was going to go through like, gas costs this much, and bread costs this much, and houses cost this much. But then there were 2 sites that had completely different numbers, and I was like, well, I don't want to cite wrong numbers, so that's when I decided to scrap that whole idea and just go with the creative route. So
yeah.
All right, I put a link in the chat for the Hutchinson book.
I got it.
Nice.
Anyone who wants to grab it, better grab it before it goes away.
Yeah, I'm putting it in my notes right now.
And I got to go dog sit, so I'm gonna sign off and see you guys later.
All right, thank you so much, Ted.
Thank you.
Okay.
I'll look forward
Bye.
to your blog post about the Alpha Smart.
Good talking with you there, Ted. Have a great week.
See you later.
Ted,
Bye.
I really enjoyed your post on the paper, by the way.
Oh, there's more coming.
That's awesome.
See you guys
Excellent.
later.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Very good.
I just want to say a quick.
Yes.
I just want to say a quick good morning to Angela. I got your message. Yes, thank you. All I wanted to know is if my letter got to you. That's all I wanted to know, and that's good.
Very good. You have one on the way.
Excellent. Thank you.
Yeah.
Just as and when, no rush, no worries. No.
Funny thing is,
well,
the funny thing is,
when I first came. When I first came on Type Pals, the background you had almost looked like a view from Southern Alberta towards the Rocky Mountains.
Oh.
in the Waterton Park area.
Okay. I was going to say, I always take a picture of every letter that I write and send, so I remember what I said. So, William, I forgot to take pictures of the letter I just sent you.
Oh, no.
Okay.
I was like, oh,
well,
no.
Yeah,
I always try to do the same thing,
do,
but I've been forgetting.
What I do is to take a PDF scan of the letter. So when I get a reply to a letter I've sent, I can then bring up the PDF scan, read what I wrote to the person, so that I know not to repeat myself and know what the other person is responding to. I mean, my late father-in-law, as I told you, he was a clerical secretary all his working life, and I have scans of letters that I typed him, and he typed me, and sometimes I had to go back 3 or 4 letters to make sure I wasn't repeating myself.
Yeah.
So, yes, okay, thank you.
So for me, the opposite is people who do Snapchat and Facebook stories, and it drives me crazy because I'll see this, so-and-so has a story, read it while you still can, and I click on it.
Yes.
It's no longer available. I'm like,
oh.
Drives me nuts too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Save it. I want to save everything, that's every kind of correspondence and memories, even if it's just a scan, so that I don't forget it. You know, I want to be able to access that.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's an interesting question. How much of our civilization, how much past civilizations do we not know anything about? Because maybe they wrote on media like papyrus or something that might have just rotted away, right? And we don't know what their culture was like, or maybe they didn't have a written culture at all. But
yeah.
Speaking of which, well, and you already know this, Gregory, because you got the letter that I sent you, but I picked up a copy of that book that you recommended, To the Letter, by Simon Garfield, and I'm about halfway through it, and it's an interesting read. And they go through all of, that history. The book opens up, with them talking about, finding just like basically receipts and things like that from some sort of camp of soldiers in early Roman times, and it's just kind of like a snapshot of life, like in that time. And I think letters are a really cool way to do that, to kind of take a snapshot of your life at that time. And it's possible that people in our families, generations down the line, will have that, and they'll know what it was, what it was like for great grandfather Eric.
Yeah.
Back in the pandemic of the 20s.
Exactly. Oh yeah. I'm looking forward to reading that book, actually. But my to be read pile is yeah, it's insane. Yeah, but I'm probably going to move it higher in the stack, because as you were talking about it in the letter, and then also just now, it's kind of getting me excited to read about it. And plus, we're kind of all involved in this pen pal letter exchange, so it's very topical right now. So yeah, but you would say it's a good book, though.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it.
Very good, very good.
What's
Excellent.
the name of the book?
To the Letter by Simon Garfield.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, when I bought it just blindly, essentially just based on the title alone, and I thought it would be just kind of an interesting book about letters and letter writing, but it's actually a fairly detailed history of letters. So Yeah,
and that's why I'm enjoying it, because I mean, I obviously I enjoy letter writing, but I also really enjoy history, and I think you know, written history is a big deal, and I kind of wonder, you know, how how we record history is changing, you know, now that there isn't as much value placed on, you know, the written word, or at least not in the same format that, you know, that it has been, you know, over the past centuries. So we're kind of living in an era where that is kind of, you know, it's changing and it's taking on a whole new format. So
yeah,
I guess the fear is that we would have our own version of the burning of the Library of Alexandria, in the sense that, you know, if the entire history of the internet is owned by some private company like Google or whatever, and if something happens in the future, then what happens to the records in the archives, you know?
Yeah. We definitely no longer have that. Well, we still have it, but we're losing the whole paper trail of history. Definitely.
I mean, what is history without, you know, those physical artifacts? Like, what are museums going to look like? You know, it's gonna be really boring.
Pretty boring for our age.
Like, imagine if the 1980s were all recorded on 8-inch floppies. Nobody had the way to read the floppies, and they were all dead.
Oh.
You know?
Yeah. Oh, that's
I
funny.
still have some. I still have some 5 1/4-inch floppies, but my the old computer I used to use has crashed. So there's a whole bunch of letters on there that I can't read.
Yeah, and you can still buy the what is it, 3.5-inch floppies on Amazon. Yeah. I bought a pack of them. I think it's Verbatim brand, because I have that Canon Star Writer, which is a thermal word processor, so it uses floppies. So yeah.
So, you know, Sony invented the 3.5-inch floppy.
Oh yeah.
And according to what I remember, that's what saved them as a company after they lost the Betamax war, the videotape war to VHS. It was the fact that they invented the 3.5-inch floppy right in time for the computer revolution, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's certainly a much more sturdy and protected version of the floppy, whereas I know was it the 5 1/4-inch? Those, you know, part of the magnetic disc was actually exposed.
Yep.
So yeah.
So what you need, Gregory, is a Sony Mavica camera.
Oh.
It was an early digital camera that used a 3.5-inch floppy as the recording medium. And they had a whole series of Mavica cameras out on the market, but they only have, what is it, about 2 megabytes or whatever, or 3 megabytes maybe, of storage on a 3.5. But yeah, those are kind of cool cameras. You could.
Interesting. Very good. Eric Tidd, how are you?
Hey, Eric.
Guys, I'm doing good.
Very good.
Got an interesting story from this week.
Oh, excellent. Please do tell.
I had the unfortunate task of probating a will, but went down to the Atlanta courthouse, which is built in like 1914, and went up to the probate office and was waiting there. And I kept hearing in the background, and lady came out and I said, "Are y'all using typewriters?" She says, "Yes, we got all these forms." She says, "We're not messing with computers. We use typewriters." And they were these gigantic, they weren't Selectrics. I don't know what they were, but these huge electrics. But it was great. I didn't mind waiting the hour and a half because I just sat there and listened to all the typing in the background. It was pretty awesome.
You're like in heaven.
Yeah. And being in the old building, it was just, I was thrown back in time. It was wonderful.
Wow. Very good. Very good. And
Hey,
Diane, how are you?
I'm fine. Sorry, I stayed off video while I was eating.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine.
Unlike somebody who ate in
I
front of
know.
everybody. What did you have, Diane? What did you have for breakfast or lunch or whatever?
Well, it was kind of a brunch because I can't get out of the I had the bacon, egg, and cheese biscuits from McDonald's.
Well, my wife had made a green chili chicken enchilada casserole the other night, so it's always good to heat up a piece of that and throw some eggs on top for breakfast. So that was pretty good.
Yeah, I feel weird if I'm eating on screen.
Yeah, I'm very self-conscious about eating, actually.
I guess I'm not, but I figure it's like if we were all together in one room, we could have
that would be
brunch together, and we would have to look at each other eating, and so.
Yeah.
Keeping it
Why not
real,
just
Joe. Keeping it
do
real.
do it on camera, you know.
Oh, very good.
I'm afraid I still have not managed to type out a another thingamajig.
A typing prompt?
Yeah.
Okay. That's okay.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, I am typing. I have the typewriter here, but it has a letter in it. I'm working on a reply to Bill.
Which typewriter are you using?
This is the Smith Premier number 5.
Oh yeah.
And it looks like I have a cat that stepped on the keys. And so I gotta take the platen off and unjam the keys.
It seems like that would be a meme that you could make some kind of a t-shirt logo out of, is typing cats. Because I see that on the Facebook group a lot. Pictures of typewriters and cats laying on typewriters.
Yeah. I feel like there's a GIF of a cat like playing a piano or something, and you could just like swap the piano out for a typewriter.
There you go.
I don't know anything about GIFs. I'm still trying to figure out how to do a video up to YouTube. I haven't a clue.
I could give you a brief tutorial here, Diane. Use Chrome browser. First of all, it helps. And create the video, save it to your computer or whatever, and then just upload it through the YouTube Chrome browser through your. If you have a YouTube channel you've created, which you can do for free, you can just go to your studio, in YouTube, and just click the upload, create new video, and upload it. Select it from your files and wait 2 hours.
That's the problem. I'm trying, because this Mac laptop, which I just got, is I would say it doesn't have that much. Fortunately, my SG1s can take a cat jumping on them from the floor. In his infinite wisdom. Sorry. Anyway, so I try to save most of my stuff on the cloud. Yeah. And as a result, it's either on the cloud or it's on one of my external hard drives, because this thing does not have a lot of it's not a lot of drive space.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of one thing I don't like about it. It's
I create my videos on iMovie on a Mac Mini, which is pretty much the same as a laptop Mac. But I'll originally render them to the hard drive of the Mac, and then from there just use Chrome browser and upload it. And when you're done uploading it, then you can archive it to an external drive. Just plug in an external drive and archive it to that. The problem with the cloud is that a video is like 2 or 3 gigabytes or more, depends on how big it is. And transferring to and from the cloud with internet is just super long to archive a gigabit size file. So it's better just to archive it locally on a hard drive.
Is there a particular file format that you have to use for iMovie? Because I tried to upload, I just did out of my
What-
my
what-
DSLR.
Well, you import the footage from your DSLR into a project folder in iMovie,
Uh-huh.
then create a new project, drag those files into your timeline on the project and do the edit all the clips together, however you like it. And then you render it, you save it to your hard drive, and the rendering process creates an MP4 file.
Because I
And
think I recorded it as a .mov file. My
Yeah,
camera can
MP4
do
is-
MP4.
yeah, MP4 is going to be a better solution as far as the size of the file, more efficient. And then you render the project into a finished MP4 movie, and from there you upload that finished project to your YouTube channel via Chrome browser. Works better usually than the Apple browser.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, brief little tutorial.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
But
Because-
then once you uploaded, like I say, transfer that finished movie to an external drive to archive.
Mhm.
And you may want to save some of the raw clips in your iMovie into a library. You may not. I usually save the B-roll, like typewriter footage and stuff like that. And I delete most of the other stuff. I don't save all that. It's just too much. But
Yeah.
stuff that I will reuse, like little B-rolls of me typing or whatever that you could use as a transition in a video or whatever, I save that stuff. And I
Oh,
can reuse
okay.
it.
Because I have some video. I was able to finally dig it out of my iPad because it was done on the little boroscope. It was video of looking up up through the key, up through the, not the type bars on this machine, up through the type bars on my Remington. So you could see the keys hitting underneath the platen and all that, because there was
yeah.
people that wanted me to do that, and I was able to do it. I don't think I can do it on. I don't think this is on the Smith Premier. It would probably have to go up from underneath, and
Yeah.
I think I only tried that once.
Yeah.
It's real awkward to get underneath there, because I'd have to have the typewriter hanging out about here.
Yeah.
Relatively speaking, and
Maybe support the typewriter in front and back on two bricks or something, and then you have room in the middle to come up through it with a camera.
yeah.
But I use a card reader, an SD card reader, that you can pop the memory card out of your camera, pop it into that, and then that's how I transfer the footage to my Mac.
Okay.
It just makes it easier than trying, because some of these camera brands, if you try to use the USB cable directly from the camera, they want you to use a proprietary software to transfer the footage to your computer. It's better just to pop the memory card out and just use that directly. And some of the videos I make, I'm using 3 different cameras for the video, and I'll just swap cards, import the footage, and then I'm good. So, but iMovie is easy to use, and I can do it. Maybe someday I should do a tutorial on how to use it for making videos. I don't know. I think there's a bunch of videos out
believe
there.
it or not.
There's probably a bunch of videos on YouTube anyways on how to make movies with iMovie, but I don't know if I would have anything to say that would be any better. But
those are
I
not.
find it.
But those are not in the Joe Van Cleve style.
No, they're
Right.
not. I know.
I can
That's true.
understand what Joe says. I don't understand most of what these other people are saying with their whatever
that's
techno
right.
garble.
Well, I'll be 64 this year, so in August. So if it's from a 64-year-old's perspective, not an 18-year-old's perspective. So maybe that's why it's easier for some people to hear, understand what I say. I don't know if it is or not.
I think there's a Beatles song about that.
Yes, when I'm 64.
Yes.
One of the guys I work with yesterday, I was at work. I work in a semiconductor fab, and he goes, his name is Tom, and he's from he's from Wisconsin. But anyways, he goes, dude, he always says dude, right? He goes, dude, I watched some of your YouTube videos. Man, you're pretty good. Like, oh, I don't know. When you talk to yourself enough in front of the camera, you get to be where you can talk to people, a public voice. Anyways, Diane, I would just want to encourage you to put some videos up there on YouTube. It'd be fun to see the details of your Smith Premier and all that. So.
Yeah, we definitely need more people making typewriter videos. Definitely.
Yep.
I strongly encourage it.
What do you mean? Like you've watched them all already, Greg? You want more to watch? Is this what I'm hearing?
Yeah, exactly.
He's exhausted the library on YouTube.
Well, I mean, a lot of the videos that are out there are typically from either the standpoint of fixing issues of a typewriter or people selling typewriters, you know, literally just doing a demo of the typewriter for sales purposes. And that's one thing I love about Joe's channel. He talks about using it and the philosophy behind using it and all that stuff. And it opens up a whole world of ideas. And I wish more people would do that kind of channel. Like, you know, this is how I'm using it in my life. This is my philosophy of using a typewriter. To me, that's just very, very fascinating. So that's what I love about your channel, Joe.
Thanks. Well, I was just thinking yesterday that my channel would be easier for me to do more videos if I was doing something on the subject of things that are still being made. You know, like imagine if I was just doing digital camera reviews, and if I got tired of whatever, I can wait another 6 months and there's going to be more cameras coming out. But when you have no more typewriters are being made, you know, what is your subject matter going to be? How do you continue you know, that discussion and that subject matter? So you have to broaden the world of typewriters beyond just the equipment to the usage and all that and the creativity with them.
Yeah. Well, Joe, it's going to be very important to us that any typewriter you pick up, you do a theme on. I know there were a few models I wanted to get that I ended up not getting because I just watched your video and decided if I really wanted it or not. And I think like most people who end up with a ton of typewriters, I'm not going to say collectors, just people, you know, they want to be, they want to put their hands on them and try them. They see a machine that they attract to, and will this machine will this machine be their muse for the writing they want to do, or do they buy it, get it, and go, yeah, this machine's great, but we aren't getting along, so I'm gonna, you know. So I think there's a huge value to that, and I know your videos have saved me a few dollars in purchasing machines I may or may not want, right? So I think you're doing a lot in that regard. Keep that up. I certainly enjoy all the philosophical in the machines like you do. I very much enjoy that. That's worth its weight in gold. And I think too, there's going to be a lot of, we're going to start having these district of Los Angeles. So I think it'd be okay for you to think about coming up with a good number so we could have you out as a guest speaker.
Oh yeah.
You know, people would really enjoy that. So
or maybe I'll make a road trip out to visit you.
That would be awesome.
Yeah. Well,
awesome.
Yeah, there'll be some reimbursement and per diems involved. So think about that. I'd love to have you out, and I know Los Angeles would love to receive you. There's a ton of people who'd love to meet you. People get very jealous. First, they get jealous. I know Gregory, the poor typist, but then they really get jealous. I know Joe Van Cleef. You know. So.
Well, I think knowing Gregory is the big star here. Actually, you know, it's funny. My friend Ethan kind of jokes about Joe Van Cleef as a YouTube star, and it's not. I'm not really a YouTube star, but it's funny. And my wife and I joke around about it, you know, too.
But you know, you're following YouTube is nothing to sneeze at. So, and you've been doing it for a long time. So,
yeah, you know, my channel has not exploded like some people have, you know, some channels, but it's just steady growth over the years, and that's probably the better way to grow a channel. I don't know, but
I would say that steady growth is a reflection of the content itself. There's always a certain level of quality that one can expect from your videos, Joe. You always come through with that, and it's really appreciated, the fact that you've been able to do that for as long as you have. There's really something to be said for, you know, putting out quality content over the course of as much time as you have. And and that doesn't go unnoticed.
Definitely.
I appreciate that, Bill. Thank you. Thank you.
Kara, how are? Oh, you're drinking. I'm sorry. How are you, Kara?
I'm great.
I always pick just that moment when people take a bite of food or a sip of coffee, or
It's a gift, Gregory. It's a
I know.
gift.
I've been working on it, so.
Oh, you're really good at it.
Good. You're doing well, though.
I am, and I'm excited because I do have new typewriters to share.
Ooh, excellent. Do show.
And I know, and it was a 2 typewriter week, so that was really exciting.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So I have 2 to show, and one of them, and at first I have to sort of give you the general idea because they're both out of my regular wheelhouse. So I don't know how well you can see, but this is kind of my, can you see it? Like that's kind of my, well, you can see, I love the old Royals, right?
Yeah.
So it's a little bit, I have some Smith Kronos also, but it's a little bit out of my wheelhouse, but I love them. So first was that Sterling that I told you guys about weeks ago that I finally got, the 5AX. You can see it's like
nice.
pristine.
That is
pristine.
beautiful.
Nice.
It's so sweet, and it's gray, so it still fits with my lack of color thing.
So that's toward the end of the 5 series, right? Right.
Yeah, this
before
is that little blip. I think it was only 1963 that they made these. It's a 5AX.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
So it's kind of like, let's modernize. Oh wait, let's make a 6 series.
The keys look like 6 series keys, right? But
they're kind of
maybe.
kind of like my 62 Sterling. This is a
Okay.
63.
Yeah.
That is more a 5 series. But
I guess so.
and it's tiny pica. I mean, it's tiny elite, which is really I prefer pica because I'm old and my eyes don't work that well. But but so the other one you can sort of see in the background, but I'm going to carry you over here because
Very good.
it's too freaking heavy. And
yeah.
Electric.
It's electric. It's an ultronic.
Oh.
Whatever the hell an ultronic is, right? I always wanted a Diana, and then this one came up, and I don't know if you can see the pretty green color, but this is also super cool. Look, it came with the original box. It didn't have a case. It had the box.
Was it made in Japan or made in the US?
Holland, I think.
Holland, maybe.
It says Lytton. Well, I think it's post McBee, but it says Lytton Industries, Springfield, Missouri, and it has a great list of authorized Royal Service Centers.
Nice.
Well, that'll be handy.
I know, right? I just sent it to Richard Polt for an update. It came with some little correct height. I really can't see what I'm doing, so I don't know if you guys can see this stuff at all.
Yeah.
And it came in, I mean, it smells horrible. So this is when you're grateful that you can't smell things through Zoom. It's been out in the garage. I barely touched it because turning it on, when you have a typewriter that smells that bad, and then you add an electric motor.
Does it work? Pretty good.
It does. It works great. Oh my God, you guys. Also, it's a selective type.
Oh.
Right, which I did not expect at all. And so if anybody knows anybody that has, I'm assuming it would be the same typesets as were in the custom 3 and stuff, which the people that I know that have them, even though they don't have the custom 3, they still hold on to the typesets. but that surprised me too. So I'm on a hunt for the types to switch out, right? But I wanted to ask you guys about these things. I don't know.
The type scale.
Yeah. So what is that? It's a type scale, but what does that mean? It's elite, obviously.
I think one of them is the line spacing, isn't it? One of them is for vertical line spacing on the paper. 6 characters per inch, maybe. Not quite sure.
What do I
I have
do?
one of
From what
those
I-
exact scales. I
From
need
what
to.
I understand, those are for when you are wanting to, if you have received a document and you want to point out one particular word in the document, you can use the one scale on the side, put that vertically, it'll tell you which line it is, then put it horizontally on the type size, it'll tell you the number of characters on that line, which character it is. And so if you have received a document and there is a typo in it, you can then write back and say, you will find that on line such and such, on character such and such, this is the wrong character. So you take that line and do a quick graphical check on it to find a character without having to read through the whole document.
Oh,
that's what I understand.
Very good,
I could
William.
be wrong. I could be wrong, but that's.
I'm going with that.
I'm thinking a video is going to be made about this subject soon.
Yeah.
Okay, and then what's this? I think it's like a magnifier kind of thing.
Looks
maybe.
like it.
It is a line magnifier, so you will find that particularly useful when you're reading an elite typewriter, an elite letter. You slide that on the line, it magnifies the entire line. Slide it down, it magnifies the entire line.
So this will be how I can read what I've written.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Lenticular magnifier.
Put the page on the table, set that on the page, and then slide it down line by line. Try it.
Oh, yeah.
It makes the letters look a little taller, but at least it makes them readable.
Oh my God, William, you're right. That's fabulous. Thank you. Put it down. Thank you for telling me to put it on the table. Because otherwise I would be on the typewriter trying to do it. Okay.
My mom's sister, my Aunt Daphne, is legally blind. She's a albino, and she has used one of those for years and years and years to read books, read letters.
Great. So if I'm reading like an old paperback that's tiny, I can do that.
There you go.
I'm keeping this out. It doesn't. It does sort of smell, but it's not as a typewriter.
That you could easily wash.
my favorite part of the Ultronic is the name.
I know.
I know.
Ultronic. It's very impressive.
If there were more of them, we could worry about them taking over the world, but there's not. Doesn't seem to be very many. They're not even in the typewriter database. I mean, there's some in the galleries. There's like 2 in the galleries, but and now I will put this one in. And as far as I can tell, so the serial number starts with in the galleries. The serial number just starts with the 2 that are there. One's Richard Pulp. I can't remember who else. And then those serial numbers start with U for Ultronic. This one starts with US, which makes me think it's Ultronic Selectatype.
That would make
So
sense.
this could be a super rare. I've never even seen one. And this is my favorite part of this story is there was one on Shop Goodwill a few weeks ago. Remember you guys a couple weeks ago that I said that I was thinking about, and my wife looked at it and she's like, oh my God, we got to get that.
Yeah.
So, right. And then I did the stupid thing of like, I spaced out, I bid low, nobody else was bidding on it. And I spaced out, I only had like $15 on it. And then somebody came in at the last minute because I wasn't paying attention and got it for $16. I was like, oh no.
Oh, that's the worst.
And it was green like that too. And then literally a week later, this one came up and I'm like, is that the same machine? But it wasn't, it was somewhere else. And the first one was listed as not working and this one was listed as working and it was it. So yeah, so I also
were those change of types or whatever, those were not compatible with Smith Corona.
No.
I wouldn't imagine so.
Yeah, no, it was just a royal, and I only saw it ever on the Custom 3. I don't know about the Custom 2, but I had a Custom 3 that was Selectatype, but I didn't ever have that.
I would assume they're less common to find than on Smith Coronas, right? Smith Corona probably
Did Smith Corona do
sold
that?
a lot. If it's the same thing with the changeable type slugs, is that what you're? Yeah, they have that on the
It's the
6
type
series.
bars, I think, right?
Oh,
they
okay,
do?
okay. The Smith Coronas were just the
Right,
ends of
right,
the
right,
type
right.
slugs and the keycaps, but these were actual type bars that were.
Yeah, this was the whole type bar, I think.
Okay.
Swap stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Interesting.
So, and there are a couple of type bars that don't hit all the way. They're kind of floppy, and I think I just need to go in and seat them better. But I don't use fractions that much as I type, so it's not a big. I'm more
so
like
they only
I'm not
go
gonna-
halfway. Get it?
Well, one of them goes a quarter of the way, right? Yeah.
Quarter of the way.
Yeah. So anyway, so that's my excitement. Oh, and then do you guys know the Buy Nothing groups on Facebook?
Yeah, I recently joined one.
They're great. I mean, that was one of the, about a year and a half ago when I was on there, somebody was like, I know this is crazy, but my daughter really wants a typewriter. Her 9-year-old daughter wants a typewriter. So I had them all over to my house, and the bunch of kids running around trying out typewriters, and she still loves her typewriter. So that was cool. And
what's the Buy Nothing group? What are those?
it's on Facebook. It's a group. I think it's international. It's at least national. And it's for people just give stuff away or ask for stuff that they need. And that's all it's for. You're not allowed to even trade stuff. It's just absolutely giving stuff away and asking for stuff that you need for free. And it's really kind of a fun way to meet neighbors, although with the pandemic, it's been a little bit like, I'll leave it on the porch for you. but somebody had, I needed some bubble wrap to ship a typewriter, and somebody had a bunch of it. So we went to pick it up, and my wife went and picked it up off the porch, and the woman who was giving it away was like behind her screen door, and she said, it's a lot of bubble wrap. And my wife said, oh, she ships typewriters. She needs it. And she's like, oh, okay. And that was last week. And then yesterday she messaged me and she said, since you're a typewriter person, we found this vintage typewriter paper and some carbon paper. Do you want it? And I was like, yeah. I almost said, let me know when you find a typewriter that goes with it. But I was like, yay. So yeah, so once word gets out there, people start digging around, and everybody's always cleaning out their garages and going, oh, here's this thing I found.
Nice. Yeah, I put the link in the chat there. It's buynothingproject.org.
And you can only join for your neighborhood.
Exactly.
It's sort of hyper local.
Yes.
Like there's several of them in San Diego. So it's really cool that way.
Yeah, I tried to join one. I thought I had the correct one, and the administrator replied to me and said, "Oh, I think you need this other group."
Right, they will very much literally put you in your place if you're not in the right group.
Yeah, they asked like what major cross street you're near, and then they figure out what actual neighborhood you're in. So
it's amazing the stuff people like give away and ask for that somebody had. One evening I was making sushi and I didn't have any wasabi, and I got on Buy Nothing. I was like, anybody have any wasabi? And like 20 minutes later I had it in hand, and I was like,
oh wow. That is funny.
It's sort of like all these random people that you can borrow a cup of sugar from or whatever, or a bicycle or,
Yeah.
It's pretty fun.
My next door neighbor doesn't even own a TV.
Oh.
Yeah. So you have to go knock on the door for your typewriter paper or whatever you need to get from them. Anyway, that's all my exciting typewriter stuff.
It's quite exciting. And it looks like Dan is showing us something. How are you, Dan?
Hello. I'm
Morning,
fine.
Dan.
Hello. How are you? Thank you.
Good.
Yeah. I've been outside brushing my house. We're gonna paint it. So my arms are like spaghetti. I got noodle arms.
Yeah.
Nice to see you guys. I'm only in for about half an hour, but this has become a great tradition on Sundays. So
Excellent.
I would like to dive in just to say hi.
Very good.
How are you?
Good.
Good.
Yeah. So let's see. Did anybody else have a typing prompt? No. Okay.
I had wanted to
work on one.
Do one,
Yeah.
but I got my second shot on for the COVID vaccine on Monday, and I normally have Tuesdays off. So that would have been my day to write it, but I felt pretty garbage the next day. So,
I'm
so
sorry
I'm
to
using
hear
today
that.
to catch up on letters. It was fine. I mean, I just it only lasted for a few hours, or like for half the day. But I didn't sleep at all the night that I got the shot, and so that was the worst part. So I felt pretty tired the whole day, even though I didn't feel sick for I just felt sick that night. So
yeah.
I wanted to contribute to the typing prompt, but I've been like in the biggest creative slump for weeks now, and I mean, it extends across everything. It's my writing, my guitar playing, photography, you name it. Anything that is like a traditional creative release for me, it's just not happening right now. It's really bizarre. So one of these days I'll be back in the mode of the typing prompt, I'm sure, but it hasn't happened yet.
Yeah.
I know this feeling, Bill.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just I'm used to it happening in like one of those various things that I've like all of these things I've been into since I was a kid, not typing per se, but writing, photography, guitar, whatever. And I'm used to having slumps in one of those areas, and then I can go to one of the other releases, that to maybe get me jump started again. But to have it extend across all of them has been kind of bizarre.
Yeah. Well, I think sometimes our minds just need to shut off for a little bit, our creative minds, and when you're ready, something's just gonna explode out of you, and you'll be back to your prolific self again.
I think you're right.
Sometimes it helps to just go for a long walk, just kind of like clear your head. I have times where I just like I just feel like overwhelmed, and like my brain just doesn't want to function, and just kind of going for a walk, not listening to any music or podcast or anything, just being outdoors and just hearing the birds and just kind of letting your mind just kind of do its thing and just run through everything, kind of like sort of give you a fresh slate, and then you have more energy to devote towards your creative projects.
Yeah.
And for people like Bob Marshall, you should know. For people like Bob Marshall and myself, they'd get on a motorbike, go for a good long ride.
Yeah.
And that often clear your head.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah.
I did do the typing prompt, but right when you asked, a train was going by. So I didn't want to turn it on, and then you guys hear the train. So somehow your powers of asking just at the right moment.
I know.
Trains going by.
I'm an expert.
Yes, great, very powerful. So do you want me to go ahead and read mine?
Yes, please.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. Oh dear, I'm gonna need glasses. I like the elite, so I need your magnifying thing there. Okay, here we go. On the day I was born, we were in the middle of a snowstorm. My mom tells me that our neighbor was a retired doctor, so he was their plan B if they couldn't get out with the car. In fact, the morning I was born was the first time in a week that the weather let up enough for my dad to be able to get the car out and safely get to the hospital. I am told that not only did I wait for the roads to clear, but I also picked a civilized time, just after noon, to make my grand entrance into this world. My mom says that by the time my dad had parked the car and found his way to the waiting room, I had already popped out. This was back when dads weren't allowed into the birthing room. Yes, I'm old. As long as I can remember, I have known that I was born the same day as Elvis Presley. I found out later that it was also David Bowie's birthday. A fun part of this is that on the news growing up, they always said happy birthday. And so I pretended that they were referring to me. A couple of things that I didn't know was that on the day I was born in 1324, Marco Polo died at the age of 69. And in 1642, Galileo died at age 77. And in 1790, on the day I was born, George Washington gave the first State of the Union address. Did you know that there is a National Bubble Bath Day? Well, there is, and it is on my birthday. And lastly, and I think you will agree with me, certainly not least, my birthday happens to also be International Typing Day. That's right.
Oh, wow.
And it's also International Literary Day. So I guess I shouldn't be surprised that I'm finding myself writing my books on typewriters. I guess I was born on the right, R-I-T-E day.
Very good, very good.
So then you have the same birthday as my dad then, because he was born on the day that Elvis Presley, or on the same, he has the same birthday.
Nice. Yeah.
Very good, very good.
But
I was born the same day of Ringo Starr.
Okay. Typing in a bubble bath. Yeah, that would be, I don't know about that. Although I have given
we've already talked about
typewriters bubble baths, so that's
Yeah.
okay. I don't think I would want to get in with it though.
Rubber duck, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, May Travers sometimes gives her typewriters a bubble bath.
Yep.
I have done that. Yeah, but I wouldn't want to get in with them. Some of those.
There's probably a lot of nasty stuff comes out of it.
Yeah.
You don't want to be bathing in that.
Yeah.
I just want to say my best friend was born on the day of Elvis's birthday too. For 40, we've been friends. This year makes our 40th anniversary as friends.
Awesome.
I used to give her gag gifts, Elvis albums and stuff like. You know what I'm saying? R. Kelly, I think, was born. I don't want to mention him, but R. Kelly was born on that day too.
Okay.
So, yep. I would always give her a gag gift every Elvis. She was like, oh.
Yeah, I always felt like a special connection, me and Elvis, you know.
Yeah. Oh, I like Elvis. It's it's rock and roll, it's R&B, it's what we listen to.
I share a birthday with Ringo Starr. That's my celebrity.
Very good. Being a Beatles fan.
Yeah.
I got Anne Margaret.
Oh,
yeah. I have Jeannie, the I Dream of Jeannie, Barbara Eden.
Oh yeah.
Had the same birthday, and Gene Kelly.
Ooh.
Oh, I
found that out yesterday. I was like, Gene Kelly too, really?
Well, I also have Saddam Hussein, but you know.
Oh. Let's see.
Did you know that Ronald Reagan and Bob Marley had the same birthday as my dad?
My middle brother used to point out to me that our stepmother had the same birthday as Adolf Hitler. And he only pointed that out because he didn't like our stepmother. April 20th.
Oh my.
I have something. I have something really, really funny to show here. So when I was looking up my date, which I'll confess is September 13, 1972. And let's see, where is it? Yeah, so so the first site I looked at to find things of significance on my date of birth showed this. Hopefully it can focus. No, I don't know if you can see there, but it says no entries found. Absolutely nothing happened on my apparently. I guess I was born, but
and that was enough, apparently.
One of my best friends is September 13th.
Oh yeah, excellent.
Yeah. We've been friends since middle school. We've been friends since 1973.
Oh yeah.
So since you were a year old.
This would have been a good typing prompt for me to do, because I just recently had gotten together with my parents, and they had a whole bunch of stuff that they had saved from when I was born, and so like we were looking through all of it to see what stuff I wanted to hold on to and all that. And one of the things, that was my baby book, and they had a like the newspaper clippings from when I was born. So like there's a whole lot of different newsworthy things that we kind of looked at, and it's kind of interesting. But that would have been a good resource to use for this typing prompt. So maybe it's one that I'll eventually come back to.
Yeah. And that's one thing I've been thinking about for the new TypePals website, and specifically the forums. I'm hoping to get people to start posting in the forums, for example, like a scan of their typing prompt or response, that sort of thing, or on everybody's account, they can also do photo albums. So you could also put scans in there, and we would be able to see them from your profile. So that could be an interesting way to do it. Or I also highly recommend having a typewriter blog. Yeah. So yeah. Let's see. Anyone else have any typing prompts or questions, comments, or anything like that? No. Okay.
I can share. I recently found this pen.
Oh, nice.
Lovely.
And it was my dad's. It's the one that I had been using for my art, and I couldn't find it, but I just came across again. It was in my desk, and it turns out it's a I don't know how to pronounce it. Osmoroid. Is that
interesting?
Yeah, that's
Osmoroid. I used to have that when I was learning calligraphy.
Yeah. So
Osmoroid actually used to make, if you're familiar with like the Estabrook purse pins, with the interchangeable nibs, they actually made nibs that you could switch out for the Estabrooks. I actually just bought one about a weekend or so ago.
Oh, very good. Very good.
Cool. Yeah, I wouldn't know how to. I don't know if you can see that, but
Zoom in on you again.
Like I'm not sure how it would.
Yeah, a lot of their nibs are different shape like that.
Yeah.
I don't know
And
where
it
the one
unscrews like way, to get the new ink because it was dry. I can't even undo it. Now I'm getting ink everywhere. But I don't know how you would change. I don't think this one, unless you change this whole top.
Probably.
I don't know. I never experimented.
Sometimes the nibs come out by unscrewing them. If it's a full thing that goes down into the section that you grip it. So it would actually unscrew there, or maybe that you can pull it directly out by the shoulders of the nib. That it may slide out that way.
Okay.
It kind of looked like it because it looks like it's just kind of slid in there.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, even the ones that have like a cartridge thing that screw into the shoulders, they look like they're slid in, but yeah, you can give it a try. Don't force it too bad, But,
yeah, I don't want to mess with it. I think
no, that looks like a beautiful pen.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, and then I came across this one too. This another one that I used to use.
Oh, nice.
It's just yeah.
Oh wow.
Kind of fun. Yeah, it's a dip.
Yeah, I love dip pens.
Yeah, that's what I also use for the art because it does it pretty fine. I don't know if you can see that, but it's pretty small.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah, I bet it flexes a lot too.
Yeah, it's not bad. Yeah. And then my daughter's got a feather that she uses the feather with the
very good.
With the dip.
Here's the Osmoroid that I've got.
Let me add you real quick. Or actually there. Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Huh.
And of course, all the ink on my hands, but
Yeah, right.
comes with the territory.
That comes from both fountain pens and typewriters.
Yeah.
True.
Two inky hobbies.
I know. I started thinking like, gosh, I better like start thinking about non-toxic ink with all the. I want to poison myself with some old ink that I found or something.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been getting way into glass pens, which for me it's kind of a learning process. I almost have to relearn how to write because with a glass pen, you have to hold it much further back than I'm used to. My writing style, I hold it right down at the end. Like if it's a regular pen or even a fountain pen, I get down as far as I can. But with those glass pens, you typically have to hold them up pretty far. So I really have to think about what I'm doing. So either that or it looks like a child wrote it. But
that's funny. I hold mine like way back here, and I just super light with it and let the ink just kind of do.
Yeah.
Oh,
there's
that's
a glass
cool.
pen. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's a Jerbon, or I don't know if it's Jerbon or if it's just Erbon, but yeah, just got it from Goulet Pens.
Pretty.
So I use this to like do like my ink swatching. To when I get a new ink, I'll do like a swatch card and then I'll write the name of the ink with that.
Okay. What you got there, Craig?
This is what I mean by it just unscrews as a unit like.
Okay.
And this is the end that it goes into. It slides in and you just twist it in.
Oh.
And it just turns in like that.
Oh yeah, mine's not like that.
That's very interesting.
That's cool.
But if you look at it, you can't tell that that's what it does or not.
Yeah.
So,
Huh.
That's one of those shoulders to get the new Esterbrookes to take the old nibs, right?
This is actually a modern pen.
Okay. Yeah.
This is the Kegaloo. It's a Kegaloo 316.
Oh.
That it goes into.
Very nice.
It's one of the cheap Chinese pens that's not really all that cheap.
Yeah.
Some of those are
Jinhao. The Jinhao 100s are
the same way.
Jinhao makes pretty decent pens. I mean, the nibs and everything are pretty good. So I mean, there's a lot of decent pens coming out. Pen BBS is another Chinese manufacturer that makes pretty decent pens, from my experience, anyway.
Yeah, I know they're well respected, and I actually have my eye on. I think it's the Pen BBS. I want to say the 416. It's the two-ended pen.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that would be really interesting.
Two-ended pen?
Yeah. So on now I don't know if it's drawing ink from the same reservoir. No? Okay. So it's essentially two pens that have been pushed together. So you could have one that writes in red on one end and one that writes in black on the other end. And you can have
nib sizes are different.
Yeah. A broad nib on one end and fine on the other. And yeah.
Interesting.
That's definitely on my wish list. Yeah.
I saw that they came out with with what they're calling a mag filler. They released it exclusively to China, but the cap of it has a really strong magnet that you can pull the piston back with the magnet to fill up the pen.
Yes.
Yeah. What wasn't that a Kaigaloo pen?
No, Pen BBS is doing it. I
okay.
know Pen BBS has one, but I've heard there's been a lot of problems with it trying to fill them. I don't know. I don't have one.
Sure. Yeah.
I want it. I've heard the reviews have not been real positive.
Okay.
Well, Gregory, your birthday is September 13th, right?
Yeah.
So maybe somebody will get it for your birthday.
There you go.
I'm not saying I will. I'm just saying
somebody.
somebody.
You're putting it out there for someone to volunteer. I appreciate that.
I do have one quick question.
Yes.
As there are quite a few fountain pen aficionados on this channel, I bought a Schaefer pen quite a few years ago. I don't know if you can see it here.
Mm-hmm.
And the ink reservoir, the bladder literally crumbled in it. Does anybody know if a person can get a replacement refillable reservoir? As so far I've been using and refilling the cartridges using a small syringe from the ink bottles. But it's a nice pen. I like it, but it'd be nice to be able
I think
to.
there are replacement bladders and bladder cartridges available.
Yep,
I think
will
so.
send you. I'll put a site in the chat that's got them.
Is Schaefer one of the brands that has a proprietary connection? Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah, I've got the cross pen with the refillable cartridge in it, and that does not fit the Schaefer.
There might be a converter for the Schaefers though out there too.
Converter, that's the word. Yes.
Yeah.
It would specifically have to be Schaefer though.
So
Yeah, it would
one
have to
that
be a
used to
Schaefer
do
converter.
All of the Schaefer stuff was Martin's pens, and they were bought out by Anderson. So Anderson has all the supplies for Schaefer. I'll put a link in the chat.
Okay.
I know you can still get Schaefer converters, but I don't know if it'll fit that pen. I don't know if there's a difference between the old bladder aromatic fills, which is what that is an aromatic fill, or if there's a difference between that or the new cartridges.
I bought this pen in, I want to say about 85, 86. Not that long ago.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a nice pen.
Yeah.
Very, very nice pen.
Yes, so up until then, I've been using the Schaefer no nonsense pen that a lot of people call the fence posts because they're so so round and flattish end. Growing up in high school, growing up in England, the high school I went to, all students were mandated to use it was either called a fountain pen or a cartridge pen, because back then we used to differentiate between fountain and cartridge. A fountain you could refill, a cartridge you had to drop the cartridge into. Where I noticed over here, all pens that write with fluid ink are called fountain pens, whether they have the converter or you're dropping the cartridges. Oh, go and take a look at that later. Thank you.
Very good.
I got a quick question.
Yeah, go ahead.
My daughter picked up this Remington this week at an estate sale. It's got
nice.
a lot of age on it, but the E is acting like a space bar.
Oh wow.
And all the other keys are pulling the E down with it.
Ooh.
Different.
And I'm not sure it's screwed on this wooden plate, so I haven't even looked up underneath it yet. But any idea what's something just disconnected from the E?
Is it like tripping the universal bar or?
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah,
it could be the E linkage is stuck to the universal bar underneath.
Okay.
So when the universal bar goes to move, it's pulling the E with it.
Okay. And is
I feel like Phoenix Typewriter. I feel like Dwayne had a video similar to that. Just look it up on his site because it's ringing a bell for some reason.
Excellent. All right.
Either that or it's a James Bond typewriter and it fires off a shot whenever you hit the E key. Be careful with that. Be careful.
Now, a quick question. When anybody's talking about a typewriter and says that rings a bell, is that pun intended?
Absolutely.
It doesn't have a knob on the left side, and it looks like the carriage return arm is supposed to get in the way of that. So I'm not sure if it's supposed to, which is
okay. The right hand knob on that one you'll find pulls out to work it, then pushes in for storage.
On the right hand one there.
Yes.
The one pointed towards the camera.
Okay.
Find that knob should actually pull out.
It
doesn't?
No.
Okay.
There's just nothing over here.
No, there isn't.
Not supposed to be?
No.
Oh, good.
Oh, okay. You're not missing anything. You never know with these typewriters. My goodness.
Yeah, I got a few rockets that are missing the knob, but I think they're just missing knobs.
Hang on just a minute.
Well, thank you. I'll take a look at some videos. Also get it off the base and try to get up underneath there.
Excellent. Well, while we're waiting for William, I understand Bill has a typing prompt.
Yeah, I figured in the spirit of things, I go ahead and put something together. So on the day I was born, my parents must have been wondering just what the hell they had gotten themselves into. All of 26 and 22 years old, they weren't much more than kids themselves, yet they did an amazing job as parents despite their youth. Looking back on things, I really couldn't ask for a better childhood. While others might have grown up with more wealth or in locations that were more beautiful, I always knew that I was loved as a child. At the end of the day, there's very little that can top this in life. On the day that I was born, I'd count myself as one lucky individual. That's it.
Excellent. Thank you, Bill. And considering you're in a slump, that was great. Good job.
Short but sweet.
Yeah, definitely. Sometimes that's the best, you
Very
know.
nice.
I do have a prompt.
Oh, excellent.
I did do one. Mine's
Nice.
not quite as nice as all of yours, but I'll read the short one here I got. On the day I was born, I really don't remember that day. As big of an event as it you might think I would have. I remember when JFK was shot, when the Space Shuttle Challenger blew up, or when the World Trade Center was attacked, but not the day I was born. My mother could probably tell you how the weather was, what she had to eat, how she felt, in more details than anyone could imagine. And now that I've had more time to think about it, nope, still don't remember.
Very good. Thank you.
I like it.
Excellent. Yeah. And it
I
just go ahead.
I was gonna say I have one too. When you're ready, go ahead.
I was just going to say, as a reminder, everyone that participates during the month will get a TypePal sticker. So, yeah.
Yay!
A free typewriter?
No, just a sticker. A sticker.
Oh,
It does have
sticker. Oh,
typewriter
okay.
on the sticker, but
Now everything anybody says, I just hear William saying that rings a bell.
yeah. Yeah,
The only one famous who was born on my birthday that I really know is Michael Jordan.
Oh, okay. That's a pretty big one.
Pretty famous.
That's the biggest one I know.
Yeah. Very good. Yeah, if you want to go ahead, Kara.
My famous person is Debbie Reynolds, and I totally loved her when I was a kid. So
Oh.
yeah, me and Debbie, we're the same. Or nothing. The same.
Okay, Eric, you were talking about that Remington typewriter. I'll show you what I mean on this one here. Just make sure I can see what I'm seeing. If you look at the left-hand end of the carriage, if I move the, you see that bar that comes out and blocks blocks the carriage return? That is on the other end of the right-hand flatten knob, which actually slides out.
Oh, okay.
For use and for storage.
And it seems to move pretty easily. So maybe yours is stuck.
Yeah, it's got room to move. It looks a little funny because it is sticking out, but does not push in. So it could be stuck.
Okay.
Well, if your carriage return lever pulls all the way forward,
yep,
without issue, then evidently you don't have a problem there, because if it's in, literally does not move.
Interesting. Thank you, William.
That was my thought.
Thank you. I'll
Very good.
play around with that.
Hopefully that helps a little bit.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
All right, Kara, back to you.
Hey, I was writing this while people were talking, and I have some sensory processing issues, so I am not sure what I wrote.
Oh no.
But I try. I can't, it's hard for me to listen and write at the same time, but I tried. On the day I was born, nobody believed it. They thought it was a joke. I was born on the first day of April.
Oh.
I like to say I was born a fool, lowers the expectations for what kind of life I would live. I was a breech birth as well. My mother said I came out ass backward and kicking all the way. Actually, she didn't say ass backward. It was implied. She probably was more struck, so to speak. There you go, William, by the kicking. When I was a kid, it was hard having my birthday. Usually in grade school, if it's your birthday, you tell the other kids and they wish you a happy birthday. When I said it was my birthday, the response was generally along the lines of, yeah, right, or good one, or even getting punched in the arm. They expected me to be good at pranks. I hate pranks. I was focused on my birthday. I wanted cake, not salt in the sugar bowl. I wanted presents, not practical jokes. As an adult, I had the advantage of a memorable birthday, although I sometimes am surprised that someone doesn't remember it. I mean, seriously, April Fool's Day and me, how could that not be the most memorable connection in your life? Anytime I meet someone with my same birthday, we commiserate about how it was as a kid, nobody believing us, people thinking a joke was as good as a gift. An instant bond. I imagine other folks with similar troublesome birthdays had challenges as kids. Halloween, New Year's, Christmas, Valentine's Day. I happen to know people with all of those birthdays. Maybe I collect them because of our shared childhood suffering. Being a breech baby has impacted me more than the date of birth in some ways. I constantly find myself in situations where I'm not sure how I got there. I seem to sneak up on myself from behind or back into an interest or a group or a passion, like typewriters. How did I get here? Is this my beautiful Sterling? Is this my beautiful Typewriter Pals group? Yeah, I believe it is.
Excellent, excellent.
That had a little bit of talking heads to it there at the end.
There you go.
I like that.
My generational, anthem.
Very nice.
Let's see. I'm trying to bring up a. Oops. Oh, where is it? Let's see. Open. No, there we go. So, and then let me show. It's going to be a little small, but hopefully, if I make it big on the screen, you guys will at least get the gist of it. Let's see here, and I need to share my screen. So this is one of my favorite pieces of artwork, and it ties in to Kara's birthday. And yeah, let's see. Yeah, so this is Rockwell's April Fool's. I believe it was used on the cover of Saturday Evening Post. And it's just a really, really bizarre painting. You have the old man's face on the two little dolls and
dog cat.
Yeah, there's just all kinds of bizarre things in there, and it's really creepy. I'm not saying that your birthday is creepy, but but if you want a better look at it, you can do a search for Norman Rockwell April Fools, and there's a couple different ones that come up, but this is the one that I like, and
look on her face, I relate to that.
Yeah.
So if I'm not mistaken, I think a lot of the Norman Rockwell paintings were painted from photos that were actually staged in a studio. He would set up with people dressed up in costume, and then he would take a photo and then use that to paint too.
Yeah. I think he was known for kind of using that process. Definitely. Of course, there's that famous self-portrait of him where he's
in himself in the mirror.
Yes. There you go. Yeah, he's one of my favorite artists. So when Kara was talking about her April Fool's birthday, which your story broke my heart, actually.
Oh, you're so tender-hearted, Gregory. It's okay. I'm over it now. But
okay. Well, that's good. But I'm still feeling it. So.
Well, we can chat later if you need some therapy on that.
Maybe you need to go out and buy another typewriter, Gregory.
I know.
That'll do it. That'll take care of it. And then send it to me as a late birthday present.
There you go. There you go. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, but I'm sorry that your birthday made me think of one of the creepiest pictures ever painted.
Trust me, I've seen worse in response to my birthday.
Oh yeah. Oh, let's see here.
Speaking of April 1st, the daughter of one of our church families, the oldest daughter, was born on April 1st. And well, that girl is no fool. She is now a fully qualified teacher. She went through 5 years of university. I think she got a PhD in teaching, or at least a bachelor in science. And she was a recipient of one of my typewriters as a graduation gift, because she was teaching English and the written language. And so I thought that'd be an interesting, what's the word you use when you have a prop you can take to the classroom to show the children as a
show and tell,
no? Visual aid.
Visual aid. There you go.
I think that's the word. Yeah. to show the students how the written word was recorded in earlier years before computers.
Very good.
That's another benefit. Okay, maybe this will make you feel better, Gregory. As a benefit of my birthday, that in any situation, somebody else always knows somebody or has that same birthday. People remember it, right? So William, yes. Thank you for demonstrating that. I ran out of energy, so I didn't write that part, but always somebody is like, oh yeah, my uncle's birthday is April 1st. People always remember it. So that's
okay. And my best friend growing up as a child in England, his birthday was April 1st as well. I kind of lost contact of him. I kind of lost contact with him once I moved to Canada, but he was a great friend.
Yeah, you're right, Kara, because I've got my daughter's got a friend that grew up and it was April 1st. I've always remembered that. You're right.
Yeah. And do you remember her other friends' birthdays?
No, not at all.
So much, right? So much. So this is the payoff, Gregory. See, for all those people who thought I was joking.
Okay.
I will say though, okay, so I just turned 60 this year, and in my entire life, I only ever pulled a prank once on April Fool's. It was a really good one, but yeah, and it was just a few years ago. So. My neighbor and I had matching 2005 silver Subarus, and he was out of town, and my other neighbor had the key to his car, so I swapped our cars. My next door neighbor, so his car was in front of my house and my car was in front of his house. It took him a while to figure out why his key wasn't working.
Oh.
It took me like 55 years to come up with that one.
Wow.
The other day that people tend to remember a birthday is February 29th.
Yes.
Yeah. That's even harder, poor thing.
Yeah. I knew a guy who I went to school with. His birthday was February 29th.
Wow.
But as they get older, they enjoy saying that they're only like 7 years old or something.
It's not so much saying how old they are. I just celebrated my 7th birthday.
Yeah. Yep.
Right.
Now the question is, do they celebrate it like on other years? Would they celebrate it on the 28th, or would they celebrate it on the 1st?
Right.
Both.
Whatever you're doing, it wouldn't be your actual day, and that could be kind of sad.
Yeah.
The seconds right in between at midnight.
Yeah. A very short birthday.
Very short.
We do have some interesting comments here. Let's see. John Vicek says, least favorite typewriter videos, someone typing without saying anything. Well,
I could do that at home.
Well, in general, YouTube videos, and it's kind of a good thing Ted isn't here, but YouTube videos where the person is doing something and they're saying absolutely nothing kind of drive me up the wall, because it's like I want to know like what they're showing me, and they're not saying anything. It's like just speak. You decide to do a YouTube video, just speak.
That's not everybody's thing, though. Some
It's
people
not,
can't
no.
do and talk at the same time, and like Ted's videos are awesome, but yeah, I want to hear him talk. But he already said he can't do that, the talking and the demonstrating. I'd rather see him demonstrate, and it has subtitles. Then
they could always do like a voiceover.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Even subtitles would be fine, but some of these videos, it's like they don't even have subtitles. It's like, okay, well, what are you showing me here?
It's a
Gregory,
mystery.
do you follow Adventure Denali on YouTube?
Yes.
Yeah, because she does mostly fountain pen videos, but she has a few typewriter videos too that she's done that are really nice.
Yeah.
Adventure Denali, is that what you said?
Yeah.
Yeah,
She's very good. Very
Yeah,
good.
she's good.
I follow this channel called My Mechanics, and this guy restores things from basically rust bucket. Most people wouldn't even touch it, but he does not say anything during these videos. He actually does, he'll put like he has some sort of words that come up on the screen to describe what he's doing. And I don't know why, I love watching it. I don't know why. I stumbled across the channel. It was one of those things that came up on the side of my YouTube page one night, and I watched that and I'm like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I saw a video that he did of restoring an Olympia SM3. Like it looked like it was completely gone. Like I mean, I couldn't believe that he, got it back to the condition that he got it in. It was
Who
like a
is
brand new
that?
typewriter. It was the one that you were talking about.
I don't think I've ever seen him do a typewriter.
No, maybe I'm thinking of a different channel, but there was one that I saw of a guy completely restoring an Olympia SM3. Like the whole thing was rusted, and I'll see if I can find it again.
Yeah, that would be interesting to see.
I've seen
I'm
that.
curious. I have neither the tools nor probably the temperament to do anything like that, but yeah, this guy, he restores things. He even has a tagline now. I make a new one. if he can't reuse something because it's too far gone or rusty, he just makes a new one, and it's total trip. I think, I don't know why, but anyway, and he polishes things to the point where they're mirror surface.
Wow.
So it wasn't the channel that you were talking about. It was Mr. NVC Restoration. I don't know. It came up in YouTube algorithms when I was watching videos one day. I'll put it in the chat.
Yeah,
Oh,
me
okay.
too. Yeah.
Yeah, the typewriter that he restored is completely. It looks like it's completely destroyed, but
well.
Ooh, Waylon has a new typewriter.
Oh yes. Yeah, she's in the comments right now on YouTube, but she'll be joining us in a little bit. And there's the link. Thank you for that, Eric. I do have to say, in Ted's defense, I actually love his video where he's doing the molded feet. I found it very very zen and kind of relaxing to watching him work there. But at the same time, you do kind of want to know like the thought process of what he's doing, but he has his blog for that, so he has a good excuse.
I think it matters whether they're, some people are really good at communicating, physically, and don't have to do it so much verbally, or they use, text on the screen, or there's some other way to convey that what you're seeing, and then everything's all right. It's the people who, bring a typewriter onto the video, don't say a word, type for 30 seconds, and that's the end of the video.
Yeah.
Oh, there is one eBay seller by the name of Spanghu who sells some beautifully reconditioned machines, and he incorporates about a 1 minute to a 1 minute 27-second video in his eBay listings. But when he types, the first thing he types is what the machine is, what year it is, and then he'll do a quick little phrase just as a he says that's as close as you'll get to test driving a typewriter without actually having one.
Yeah, I think that's Tony's typewriters that does that.
His actual name is Nis Kildegard, but he's uses the surname Spanghew.
Oh, okay, so that's a different one then. Because I
Yeah.
know Tony's typewriters always puts these little short videos of just a type test, and he types the name of the typewriter and just a little sample, and that's it. It's like a minute and 17 seconds or something.
Yeah.
Which is, it's nice, but he's just doing it for the purposes of selling it. So
yeah.
I think there's room for all different approaches. I mean, if you actually take the time to listen to these machines, they actually do all sound unique. They certainly all sound and feel unique, and you can't portray the feel through video. But like this last week, I've been using my Facet EP1 quite a bit. And it has this incredibly mechanical, it sounds like a mechanical symphony. There's so much going on with the machine that you can hear that, if someone were to put that out on a 30-second video, there would be some value in that.
Yeah.
It's just something different. I mean, the flip side of that is people that like lay a soundtrack over everything, where you can't, everybody has their own approach, I guess.
That's true. That's true.
So I think it's just interesting to have a mix of different things out there when all is said and done,
Yeah. And as long as people are making the videos, that's important thing.
Yeah. That's contributing more than I am. So what can I say,
There is, I want to say it's Dr. Typewriter. I could be wrong. I think he's doing these like 6 to 7 minute videos of him typing, and he types really fast, but he does it with the intention of letting you hear the sound for a while and see the action of the typewriter and hear the sound. So his are much longer than those like 1 minute videos, but he's doing it specifically for that purpose. So I definitely see the point of that, but I shouldn't be so critical. And it is about people just putting out the videos and yeah. So,
well, it's understandable that they may not appeal to everyone, they're just being honest.
Exactly.
And that's okay too.
Yeah.
So it's different strokes for different folks kind of thing.
Yeah.
And you're a Virgo too, like me, so you're gonna be critical.
One of the things I found difficult to do with audio is recording the sound of typewriters at their true level of audio, because most cameras have automatic gain control on the audio circuit. So if you have a quiet typewriter, it's going to try amping up the volume a little bit to some normal level. And it's really difficult to do a comparison between typewriters in terms of how loud they are. You need a digital audio recorder with manual record levels, so you can fix it at a manual level.
Yeah.
But just using a camera, a camcorder or whatever, video camera, it's tough to get that true level, the distinction between them.
Exactly. And of course, doing it right here in Zoom is even worse because it's trying to cancel out that sound.
Yeah, that's right.
There's somebody has a lot of background sound going on. Can whoever that is mute it? I'm hearing dogs crashing around.
Oh wow!
You're not hearing that?
No. Are you sure it's not your neighborhood?
I don't hear any background noise.
You hear it, Brandy?
I do.
Oh, interesting. Huh.
Wow, so some people hear it and some people don't. It's not my neighborhood. It's quiet here.
That is bizarre.
There's like traffic sounds and dogs barking and.
My goodness.
Door opening.
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't hear anything.
I know that Craig's dog was barking earlier on, but
yeah, mine did earlier. Yeah.
Huh.
He's been quiet here lately, so.
Yeah, I'm not hearing anything.
I have something new, although it's only an accessory.
Okay.
Yes. Side load cartridge.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was typing on that particular machine and all of a sudden I ran out of ink. I'm like, what a drag. So I went to the repair shop to pick up my mom's typewriter, which they had finished with. And it's like, oh yeah, I need to get one of those while I'm at it. So
Diane, are those cloth ribbons in the cartridge?
I believe it says they're nylon. It says nylon fabric on the package. So yeah.
It seems like you should be able to rewind it if it's a cloth ribbon.
Okay. The cloth ribbon, those cloth ribbons are 18 feet continuous loop that goes round and round and round. And
okay.
Gradually
Continuous
gets
loop.
paler and
Okay.
paler.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think there's a way to open it without really totally destroying them. So
if it's a continuous loop, then it should be able to go until it gets.
It does, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Maybe squirt some WD-40 in it and see if you can rejuvenate the old one. Right?
Well, it might have actually just hit the end of the strip. I don't know.
The single pass polythene ribbons, yes, they will go until hit the end. Then that's it. It stops dead.
It's amazing though.
I have yet to finish a polythene ribbon and then take it to pieces and measure how many feet, yards, meters, whatever of polythene ribbon there is on one of those. But I have a feeling it's going to be a couple of 100 feet.
Yeah.
This one says 5/16 inch by 23 feet, or 7.8 millimeters by 7 meters.
Okay, 7 meters. Yeah. So that is the continuous loop.
Okay. Yeah, that would make
And
sense.
those are just like amazingly easy to put in. I couldn't believe it the first time I put one in. I was like, I must have done it wrong because that was too easy. And my second comment on these is they are $10 at officesupply.com, which is cheaper than some of the other places that I saw when I researched.
Yeah. How is their shipping fee?
If you get over a certain amount, I don't remember what that amount is, then it's free.
Okay. Wow. So that
are they new old stock or are they being manufactured new?
They seem to be manufactured new.
Wow.
I know that from aroundtheoffice.com, you can get green ones as well as black. And I was able to score a box of, I think it was 10 multicolored ones for $20 on eBay plus $10 shipping. All the polythene film, black, there's correctable black, permanent black, blue, green, brown, and red, plus the lift off for the correctable black and the overwrite for the other colors.
I didn't see any other colors at officesupply.com. That doesn't mean they're not there, but I didn't see them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have one of the original correction cartridges for this that my mom had way back when. I mean, this is the machine I used to practice my typing class stuff on back when I took the class. But yeah, I have the typewriter here, so that's pretty good. It's just one of those with the power return that when you hit that power return, it goes to the next county.
Yeah.
That's how mine is.
you absolutely cannot use that thing on a typing table. The whole table shakes like this whenever you hit that return. It's like
No, I hold it really tight and then I hit the button.
I used to sit there with my stereo headphones on and I was playing a record and yes, it was actually a record. It was a Culture Club record. That was my that was my typing music. It's kind of funny. I have writing music I have what I call my creative writing music is their first album. It's kind of, I nicknamed it my term paper music, but whenever I need, if I need to like write up like a summary, like a year-end goals summary, you know, that for me is the hardest thing ever. It's like I put that music on and I can crank it out. I don't know why. I simply do not understand why that works for me, but it does. It's like I put that album on, just repeat it a few times. Okay, I'm done. But yeah, my parents, they never complained about the loud music because I always wore headphones. And I even typed at 7 a.m. on Saturday morning, and they still didn't complain. And my room was right next to theirs, and they just knew I had to get my homework done.
Yeah.
I was taking the class at a local junior college at the time, despite the fact that I was still in high school. And but yeah, it was interesting. But yeah, I wound up with that machine.
So they didn't have any Smith Premieres in your typing class?
No. In fact, I think they had Selectrics in the class.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I no longer have the original textbook. They had another book that I still do have. I'm thinking the textbook went to a I don't know. It went to somebody who some veterans group. They wanted to pick up books or whatever, and just to help mom dad clean up. But yeah, that one I now actually kind of regret getting rid of that one, but oh well.
Yeah.
I have a few that I picked up. Actually, I have a pile that I got at that estate in Jacksonville, Illinois, where I had the among the things that was found. There was a Hall blind braille writer. The man who invented it was Hall, and he was from Jacksonville. And in the stuff that was there was like a picture of the guy, a picture of Hall himself, and there was some letter addressed to, I don't know, wife, sister, whatever. I don't know. It was just an envelope, though. It was with this particular typewriter. And but yeah, there was quite a few paper artifacts that I obtained in that out of that estate. It's like, I didn't like totally clear it out, but I brought in a couple of people who helped to clear it out drastically. And this was a case of a hoarder house. And by the time they cleared out the clothes, oh my God, there's a whole basement full of typewriters and adding machines and check protection machines. And it was huge. I had, at one point, I did post pictures on one of the Facebook groups of it. And it was back at the end of 2018 that I was kind of put in touch with this lady because Greg Foodax needed somebody to meet up with her and transport a typewriter to him at Herman's. So, okay, I can do that. And that's how I found out about her. And she's like, well, why don't you come up, sometime later, you can come up and check it out. And I did. It was just kind of like a jaw-dropping experience. I mean, it was just like, okay, there was just shelves everywhere. And it's like, and they had, these were his kids. They had no idea until they were digging out of all the stuff that their parents had hoarded. Basically, they had no idea that this collection existed, and we didn't take it all. I didn't. And Bill Oliver, he actually took the majority of it. Richard Molman came down from Chicago and he got some nice stuff out of there too. And it was just a case of, hey, anybody interested in this? I mean, that's why I took the pictures and posted stuff and yeah, I got three Smith Premieres out of there. So I can't complain. I got a bunch of several Hammonds, and this person had basically a Oliver. He had a bunch of Olivers, but he had this one that it had been covered, and it was just It wasn't like new, but it was pretty darn nice because it had been covered.
Yeah. That makes a big difference.
It does.
Yeah.
I want to add
like
one
sorry, go ahead.
makes I don't want to call them stickers, but I need to replace some of the Royal, like the one that the Royal typewriter, the Royal 10 that I'm repainting to make look like my car. I would like to put Royal decals. Thank you. I'm sorry, my mind is not where it needs to be. But the decals, I need replacement decals. Anybody make those?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's somebody on Etsy that makes them, right? And
Paul Robert, I think.
Something like that.
Or Robert.
And does Lee make them too?
I'm sorry?
Does Lee make them too?
She does not do the decals like that. No, she does other decals that you can like put on your car, those, like those white line ones.
Oh, yeah.
She makes those and you can put them on your vehicles.
So you could make your car look like your typewriter.
Yeah.
Whichever way, yeah. Who did you say that was again? I'm sorry. On Etsy? Or who was that?
Yeah, I think it was on Etsy. Paul Robert.
Yeah, I've seen them on Etsy.
Are we talking about the water slide transfers?
Yeah.
Okay, hang on. I'll be right back.
I think if you just go to Etsy and put in typewriter decals, that you find it. That's how I found it.
Okay, thank you.
Bye, Bill.
Thank you, Bill.
Bye, Bill.
Nice to see you.
Yeah, I got a new fountain pen. This is my newest acquisition. This is the Lamy All-Star. Oh shoot! Now I forgot what they called it. It's one of their new limited edition ones for the year. So Azure maybe, or anyway.
I actually really like the clips on those. It looks like a paper clip, but I like it.
I know it really does look like a paper clip.
Yeah.
Hello. Sorry, I got a late start. I don't mean to
no.
interrupt.
No problem.
And I'm excited you have a new typewriter.
I do. I said I wasn't going to get any new typewriters unless the very special one came around at a great price.
Oh
and
my.
hold on, I see my camera stuff is not doing what I want it to do. Let me figure
You were
out.
too excited.
Well, I just logged on. Oh, I see what's going on. I just logged on.
Hey, May.
I was looking for a little while. Hey, Natasha. Hey, everyone. It's probably a long list to say hi to everyone. So just hi, everybody. We know who we are, but I came across a Royal Model P.
Oh, wow.
I have a friend who loves
that's one your friend got you.
Yeah, she goes to estate sales, and of course she's looking for furniture, but she knows I like typewriters, and whenever she sees one, she says she's going to let me know. And she found this one for $30, and it was a little bit broken, but I fixed it. It was an escapement issue. I haven't fully put it back together yet. I got to put the back panel back on, and I'll do that while we're chatting. But I fixed it. The escapement, it had a hard drop. I don't know if you can see it, but there's a dent right here. So it had a really hard drop in its life, but it was touched up, but the carriage was it was mangled. And all it was the whole escapement rack itself was just pushed over to one side. And so, I held my mouth just right and bent the metal parts over back to the right or left. I can't remember which one. And that was it. It magically started backspacing, everything's working. I can't believe, I see how these are favorite typewriters for some people. I just can't believe how good these still work. It's almost 100 years old. It's a 1929 Royal P. It's got some scars, like they all do, but it works. And to me, that's the most important part, is that it works and it still looks relatively good. So I'm very excited about this one.
Mine suffered from that paint on the paper table as well.
Yes, apparently some models have that problem with the inferior paint job on the paper table. Like everything else is perfect.
I know.
But the
I
paper table, I remember one of yours is like that. Your standard is like that too, isn't it? With the,
No, just that one, just the portable. And I
just
sent
the
that
portable.
off to Megan.
Oh yeah, she's great.
But I haven't gotten it back yet.
Well, it's worth the wait, that's for sure.
People 5 minutes to wind down is appropriate.
I'm sorry, what?
Oh, it was background noise, I think.
Oh, okay. I thought someone was asking a question.
We were talking about decals a little while ago.
Yes.
Are those kind of what you're thinking of?
Yes, that's exactly right. But I needed, yeah, I need that one and I need a big one. But yeah, you got, are you selling those or what are you?
Nope.
Nope, those are for his typewriter.
Okay.
The typewriter decal shop.
You got to get your own. But they are easy. I mean, people do make them, so you can order them.
Yeah, I can see that. That's the return
There
address.
it is.
From,
Yeah, that's the, okay. All right.
yeah. It
Gotcha.
sells on Etsy. They're not cheap, but they're but they're very good. As far as I can tell, very good, very good quality.
Quality, yeah.
Excellent.
It's a total repaint. So I want to still have it branded. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they even include some test decals. I can see those.
Yeah. Cool.
Oh,
I will
okay.
definitely seeing about that.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He always has something to show us. You're a very
what happened
around.
is I had been asked if I could repair the typewriter from an interesting little shop in Banff, Alberta called Ginkgo and Ink. And she had a selection of typewriters, which were, and one was broken. I actually sold her basically an Oliver Isidora through my Etsy shop, and then she asked me if I could fix her Royal. And I said, well, I'll take a look at it. And it had obviously been taken to pieces, put back together wrong, and so I did a whole bunch of cleaning on it. And the water slide decals suffered very badly when I gave it a wash with the scrubbing bubbles. So I ordered one set of decals for hers and one set of decals for a Royal Model O that I'm still have yet to do a complete cleanup on, and a set for spare.
Okay.
Cool. So, yeah, so go on to etsy.com probably and just look for typewriter decals, Paul Robert photography. That may help.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah, I see them. I see decals for a portable typewriter Royal. Then typewriter water slide? What?
Yep.
Yeah.
Ah, okay. Okay.
Get them wet, slide them onto the off one surface onto the other surface.
It's like those fake tattoos, basically.
Yeah.
Not quite. If you ever did plastic model building as a child, you get these water slide decals. You cut the decal out and give it enough background, set it on the surface of a bowl of warm water. Don't actually dip it in. The paper will curl up, then go flat. Then you very carefully put it in place and slide the paper out from under the decal. You have a few seconds to adjust it, then press a clean white Kleenex against it very gently to absorb the excess water. And they tear very easily, they damage easily, but once you get them in place and they're dry, then they secure.
Okay.
Recommendation is to put a bit of I think they call it fixative to actually seal the decal from future damage. Okay. Eric saying bye. Bye, Eric. Good to talking to you again.
Bye, Eric.
I have a letter. Yep, my letter to you is on its way.
I have a letter for Eric as well. He wrote me a really nice one. Great letter writer.
And we have to say hi to Mike. How are you, Mike?
Hi, Mike.
Hey, how you doing? I'm doing all right.
Good.
Yeah.
Mike,
Had a couple since the last time, but I've been away for a while, and I was out of town, and then last week had family over, so it's the first time I've been able to get in here for a while.
That's okay. That's okay. Yeah. It is good to see you, though.
Yeah. I don't have it up here. I picked up an SG1 the other day.
Oh, okay.
Ooh,
but it's
nice.
down on the bench, and it's got some issues that I got to.
Okay.
Like one of the right margin thing. It's a zinc casting, and it's kind of disintegrated. So, but I think I can. I know it doesn't look like a very complicated shape, so I could probably file something, to replace it. But I've got to do it. And this is something that it's not very interesting, but I couldn't resist it because it was like $5.
Ah, yes.
Oh, you have an electron. Is that a thermal?
Yeah.
No, it's electron. It's a daisy wheel.
Yes.
Daisy wheel, yeah.
Pinwheel.
Okay. Still good.
It was at a thrift shop, and I haven't been hot about it, but when it got down to $5, it's like, well.
Yeah, and they're actually very handy. I like using them for filling out envelopes because they always have the wider platen.
Yeah,
so
they do.
It's easier to fit the envelopes in there, and the typefaces. I mean, it's so easy to find different typefaces for them. So they're very fun that way. So
yeah, I'm looking at a couple on eBay that are look interesting. So
yeah, I think I have about 6 or 7 different typefaces for mine.
Yeah.
So
and I got this one out, cleaned it up, which is
that means
which I've had. I bought new in 1978.
Nice.
Oh, cool.
It's a letter of 36 electric,
Mm-hmm.
and it still works well.
Nice.
Lost a screw.
I can't like it too much, because if I liked it too much, then I wouldn't have any. I couldn't justify buying everything else I've done.
Right.
But I
We
think
love them all typewriters.
I traded an SF for it, so I'm not so happy about that. But that was a long time ago.
Oh.
Which is my sort of college typewriter.
Yeah. Very good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you for joining us again.
You're welcome. I didn't do a typing prompt. So.
That's okay.
Oh, I did.
Oh,
I did
okay.
a typing.
Yeah, go ahead whenever you're
Hold
ready.
on, sorry, I lost a screw, and so I'm thinking it stuck to one of my magnetic tools, and I'm trying to find it. It's not a crucial. It's one of the screws that go in the back. But typing prompt. Okay, hold on. Let me get it out of the typewriter. I used a different typewriter. I didn't use the new one, not that I used one of them. Okay, it was April 8th, the day I was born. It was a sunny Saturday afternoon in Taipei, Taiwan. About 700 miles away in Japan, people were celebrating Gautama Buddha's birthday, as many Asians do, with various holidays and festivals. So it's kind of like being born on Christmas, right? Anyway, since 1963, Hawaii has recognized April 8th as Buddha Day to honor the founder of Buddhism. The Taiwanese have long celebrated traditionally, and then in 1999, the government made it an official national holiday. My parents had told me many stories of my birth. They were happy, excited, and freaking out. My mom went into labor while my dad was at work, so she went straight to the hospital with my grandma, while my dad went home first to pack a bag and make some food, like his now family favorite banana bread. Because I was a large baby presenting breech in a small mother, I was born by cesarean section, but the surgery went well, and both mother and child are still happy, healthy, and going strong today. I shared my birthday with a few other notable people, like the French explorer Ponce de Leon. Something I didn't know at the time, I went on an amazing cave diving adventure in the Florida spring that bears his name. I also have my birthday in common with John Schneider, my favorite character, Bo Duke on the Dukes of Hazzard. Yeehaw! I was born during an astrologically significant time as both a rat and in Chinese and an Aries in the Western world. Those are both the first signs in the astrological cycles. Otherwise, though, nothing remarkably historically happened on the exact day I was born. However, a little research on Wikipedia shows lots of April 8th events. So thank you, Gregory Short, for the typing prompt that has led me down a little fun rabbit hole of our past. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome, and thank you. Very good, very good.
It sounds like quite a few people have their birthday in April. Mine was the 19th.
And then CARES is what, April Fool's Day, if I remember correctly, right?
Yeah.
You're April Fool, baby.
You remember? Kara was just talking about that.
Yeah. Just kidding. No, seriously. So.
Yeah, so it sounds like Kara is just 18 days older than me.
No.
Both celebrated the big 6-0 this year.
Ah, okay.
I will be celebrating the big 5-0 next year. I'm right behind you.
There
you go.
I have to say I'm a fellow rat, but I'm a Virgo. So
Virgo rat.
yeah. And specifically, I'm a water rat because they also have the elements mixed in there somewhere. My wife is a wood
I can't
rabbit.
remember which one I am.
Yeah.
Are you 1972 as well?
Yes.
Okay, then we're both water rats then.
There you go.
Don't know what that has to do with typewriters, but you know.
Oh, but you know,
it's interesting. It's interesting
Yes,
though.
yes.
You know, some of the different, you know, characteristics of people born in certain signs. You know, sometimes we like to believe them. We like to believe the good qualities of those signs, right?
Yeah. And it did have to do with the typing prompt. So there you go.
Exactly.
I'm water rat too.
Ah, very good.
Cool.
Very good. Yeah.
All right. I'm still listening. I'm looking. I'm just crawling on the ground for a lost screw, but I'm still listening.
You lost your screws?
Yeah, I lost my screws. It's here somewhere.
Screw is loose.
Screw is loose. There, that's the thing. I was
Wouldn't be
looking
the first time I had a few loose screws, right? But I'm sure you've all been there before with the one missing screw.
Oh yeah,
and-
I've been down on hands and knees sweeping up the floor a lot of times in my shop looking for parts that fly off the bench.
Yeah.
Yeah, the thing is, if it fell on the floor, it probably bounced somewhere. And
Exactly.
So Joe, do you have any new videos in the pipeline?
Let's see. I'm sure I'll have a video out this week, but I don't yet know what it's going to be about. So it's always a surprise to me when it happens.
You kind of go with the inspiration, right?
I do a lot of that lately. Yeah.
Well,
I'm not sure what it'll be on. But I have a number of subject matter, you know, not just typewriters, but I can do something else, photography related or whatever. So
yeah.
And
of course, it's something will just fall into your lap too, like when you find a typewriter that you just can't resist buying.
Oh yeah, it's like it's Sunday afternoon. I could go out to the thrift stores today and see what I find.
Yeah, and it looks like a really nice day there too.
It is a nice day. It was a awful windy, dusty day yesterday, but I was at work, so today is a good day to be out.
Nice. Yeah, earlier you were walking, and I took note. The way you had the camera, you could see the sky, and it was just this beautiful blue color.
Oh yeah, it is a nice morning out here.
Yeah. Here we have lots of smog to deal with.
And here it's raining.
Oh yeah.
Did you happen to see that Virgin Galactic spaceship go up yesterday? It was on YouTube.
No.
They launched it from southern New Mexico. They have this Spaceport America thing that the state built. But who's the guy, the billionaire guy that owns Virgin Galactic, whatever his name is? Richard Branson.
Yeah, there you go.
Anyway, they have that giant mothership airplane that's a twin fuselage, you know, big massive airplane, and it carries this little spaceship up under its belly. And it really just does like a ballistic arc. The spaceship just goes up and then it barely crosses the Kármán line, which is the imaginary line where the start of space is. And it just does a, it's sort of like the Alan Shepard early space flight. It's just suborbital, right? But it promises to be a space tourism thing where you can pay money and go into space. But the scenes, the scene
It's
from that,
expensive, but
yeah, expensive. Yeah, if you have the money. But they could see like up there, how 300,000 feet or whatever, they could see the Gulf of Baja, and you could see the Pacific coast from New Mexico that high up. So it's pretty cool.
Wow.
Pretty amazing. Yeah. Pretty amazing.
Very cool. Oh, and John Vitek in the comments says he's April 1972. And he says there seems to be a theme going.
Yeah.
A lot of
These are rat
1972s. Very cool. Yeah.
I have a question for
Yes.
people out there.
Yes.
I notice, and of course it's not my error, it's got to be the typewriter, right? When I am typing, especially on Royals, so I've got a deluxe, and then I've also got a couple of the Quiet Deluxe as well. So as I'm typing, I notice that I hit the space bar, but it doesn't space. So I'll get all these words that are squished together. So I don't know if I'm just not pushing it hard enough, but it doesn't seem to do it on other ones. Is there a way to adjust that space bar so it actually does a space?
So
yes, there is.
Just, okay.
But I would have to dig into my literature a little deeper. I don't remember what it is offhand.
Okay.
The spacebar is supposed to
Did
trip
you take?
about 1/8 of an inch before it hits the bottom stop.
Oh.
And it could be the bottom stop might be bent also. That's
Okay.
possible.
Yeah, I was going to ask if you'd taken it apart, because I did that one time, took it apart and didn't put it back together right. And so it was blocking the space bar action. So
no, I haven't had to take these apart.
But there is a little trick. Oh, okay. So
yeah.
And sometimes there's some padding, like a little cork or rubber padding on the hard stop. And that, if that comes off, that can also change the setting also.
Okay.
May, as you're looking for that screw, one little trick that Mum taught me when I was very young is get your face, get your head on its side, right down on the floor, and look sideways across the carpet. And if there's anything, it might show up.
Sticking up. Okay, I'm gonna try that.
I also use a flashlight, and you
That's what I'm
shine
doing
it
now, right?
sideways across. Yeah, but if you have carpet, it's tough. It could be in the
Well,
carpet.
no, it's on floor, but it could
Okay.
have bounced into the carpet. That's probably what.
And anytime you drop,
And it's a black
anytime
screw
you-
too. It's not shiny. It's not.
and
going to
anytime
reflect
you
back.
anytime you drop anything, measure the height from which it was dropped, then multiply that by 3, and it could be
maybe-
anywhere within that circle.
Oh my goodness.
Maybe I should drop another one and see where it goes. Right?
Oh, it might follow the other one.
Do you
Gonna lose
have
it forever.
You'll lose
like a
both of them.
magnetic flashlight or anything that you could just kind of wave back and forth?
Yeah.
That's what she's got.
Yeah, I've got two
He's
different things going
calling,
on.
calling around on the floor there.
It's
Oh,
here. I know
okay.
it couldn't have gone anywhere. I mean, unless it lodged in the bottom of my shoe and then I walked outside, I suppose those things do happen. But otherwise, it's got to be here somewhere. I just don't see it. But it's really not a crucial. It's just 1 out of 4 screws that hold the back panel in, so it doesn't affect the function of the typewriter. But I'd still like to have it.
Yep, I hear you.
Yeah, I lost one like that. I never did find it. And I looked as soon as it dropped too. Couldn't find
And
it.
it's just disappeared forever, right?
Forever.
It's
Yeah.
I don't have any weird places it could go to. I'm just not seeing it.
The other places that things like that like to go is to wedge himself up against the bottom of a table leg or the bottom of of the baseboard.
Yeah, like between the carpet,
They
flooring.
See, I'm tempted
They
to
never
stay
sit
on
out
here
in
just
the
to
open.
watch. and
Just
see
to
if she
watch
finds
May
it.
find her loose screws.
Will she find the loose
Will
screws?
she
Stay
find
tuned.
You can take a little webcam and put it down there and just wave that around, and we could all
I know, huh?
Yeah, we'll all look,
I'll look for it.
I
Meanwhile, Brian Good says, "What's this about April 1972? That's when I was born, April 17." So a lot of
Brian Good as well. Oh wow, that's funny.
Yeah.
Wow.
Dang, I'm an oddball.
All right, I'm not gonna look while we're chatting. I'm just kidding. I'll look later.
It'll turn up.
Well,
Just walk around with bare feet until you feel
it'll
it.
turn up.
Ooh,
It's like a
ouch.
Lego.
Bare feet.
No, yeah, that's what like a Lego. It'll turn up. Ow! So.
Craig, I do want to ask you what, and I apologize if you mentioned it, but what do you typically write on your typewriters?
It can be anything, really. I mean, I
Yeah.
do some journaling, and I just write some stories and just whatever, just kind of, sometimes I just write jibber jabber, I
Yeah.
mean, it ends up just getting filed, so.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's,
Making up stuff to write.
yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes I write about, like, if I'm using my fountain pen, I'll just be writing about the pen, and just testing the pen. Oh, then it could just be absolutely nothing. I mean, that's usually what it is. I know my wife always says, "I want to read some of the things you're writing," and I said, "Sure, go ahead. You're not going to be too interested in this, though."
I like that image of you going from your fountain pen to your typewriter and back and forth between the two.
Yeah, it's they're both fascinating. They really are. Like I said, the fountain pens were the thing that caught me, and I actually started that when I was really young. I was about 10 years old when I first got interested. I bought my very first fountain pen. I still have that fountain pen. It still works, and I still use it occasionally.
Wow.
It was very, very inexpensive. I think I paid $1.98. I saved my allowance up for $1.98 and went to the drugstore, and I bought that and some ink cartridges, and that's what I used. And but yeah, I still have that pen today.
Wow.
Nice.
Yeah,
I have a question.
Oh,
I'm
yes,
sorry.
go ahead. Go ahead.
For fountain pen
Go ahead,
users.
Breaker.
When I was a teenager, I used a fountain pen to try to write calligraphy. Now I would not be able to write calligraphy to save my life. My question is, how, do you use it for, very ornate writing, or do you use it just for everyday journaling, or kind of a combination?
Personally, myself, I have very poor handwriting. I also have essential tremors, so I have some shaking that goes on, which doesn't help me too much with that. So I'm not the right person for that, to be honest with you. I watch people with the calligraphy, and they have the most beautiful handwriting and the most perfect letter forming and everything. I really wish I could do that sort of thing. But I use it as a therapy kind of thing because it does help reduce some of the shaking, and I do take some medication for it to help with it. But I still have it, it's still there. I notice it. I think everybody else can, but I don't think anybody else does, to be honest with you. So, but that's me. And certain pens are more adapted for that thing, that would have more of a flex nib, more of the vintage gold nib pens that have a lot of flex to it, that they'll use those a lot for calligraphy, or some of the writing, the dip pens that Kelsey showed us there, and that sort of thing is a little bit more in tune for that sort of thing.
Yeah, I've done a lot of calligraphy. I have very poor handwriting, but I can do calligraphy. I draw out one letter at a time. But I haven't found the fountain pen with the right sort of broad nib that really works well for it. I mean, I'm sure they're out there, but I've used a lot of dip pens for that, at least when I was doing it.
Yeah, I think I have I forget the exact sizes, but I think one is a 1.6 millimeter, and I think the other is a 1.9 millimeter. So they're pretty broad.
Yeah, that's about the size you need.
Yeah, I just use them sometimes, and I've kind of fallen out of the practice, but I went through a phase where on the envelope, the first letter of the person's name I would do in calligraphy, and then I would type the rest of the name and address, which was a pretty cool effect. But for me, I do like using it because, well, first of all, calligraphy reminds me of my grandfather, and he had stunning calligraphy. And the other thing is, like you two have mentioned, I have really bad handwriting, so calligraphy is my way of allowing myself to slow down and actually, consider how I'm forming each letter.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that's kind of the way I use it, just for ornamental reasons. I wouldn't really try and write in them, although. And it's kind of funny, I left the video up, but if you go back through my videos, I'm showing these broad nib fountain pens, and I had no idea what I was doing, so I just tried just writing normal with it, and it was coming out awful, and I was like, what's wrong with this? And I think at the end of the video I realized that you have to slow down, and it's like a calligraphy pen. So yeah. I felt kind of foolish, but I left it up for posterity. So feel free to go back and look at that.
Yeah, I tend to use regular fountain pens just in normal size handwriting, but I've recently really taken to the Pilot Plumix pens. They're really inexpensive, and they have a so-called stub nib, which is like an italic nib, but it's a thinner italic nib, and the corners of the nib are a little more rounded. And so I can use that pen with normal size script, like a normal line width writing, but it still gives you that thin, thick appearance, but not as excessively so as a true calligraphy nib. And for my handwriting, it tends to make my handwriting better because the thick part of it slows down the speed at which you can make loops and quick movements. And so it kind of, it smooths out the jitteriness of my normal scrawl and makes it better. So I've been using that a lot, and it really does improve my handwriting somewhat.
And the second name on that was Plumix?
Plumix, Plumix. It uses Pilot cartridges, and I've been recently refilling them with ink syringe from bottled ink, just because I like bottled inks. But yeah.
I think that nib will also, you can take it off of that and put it on a Pilot Metropolitan, have a little wider nib. I read that somewhere. I haven't tried it.
Yeah, and the pen body itself, I'm out here in the patio. I don't have it with me, but it looks kind of like styled like a dip pen, kind of a handle, or a body.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I know they're inexpensive, and yet they're pretty well regarded, though. So yeah.
I mean, if you're wanting to do calligraphy, the Pilot Parallels are really good for that, and they're really cheap too. There's 4 of them, 1.5, 2.4, 3.8, and 6.0. And they're not really like normal nibs. I mean, they're actually, almost like a calligraphy end. Wow. And they take regular ink cartridges. So if you want calligraphy, they work well for that. But I think that it depends too. Like you said, the stubs are something that kind of gives your handwriting a little more flourish, or something that has a lot of flex. The vintage nibs are really good at that. I don't use any pen other than a fountain pen ever. So for me, it's a lot of mediums, a lot of fines to, in everyday writing. But yeah, you can do either one really.
Yeah, the thing about calligraphy with fountain pens is the feed on the back behind the nib only flows so much ink at a certain rate. So if you're using a really wide nib, you obviously have to be drawing a lot or writing a lot slower because the rate of ink flow is a lot lower than what you need. So you can't do it as fast as you would with another kind of pen.
Yeah, that was a problem I ran into when I was doing that. I did the unboxing of those two pens, and I was just writing quick for me, which is not all that quick, but still pretty quick. And it, yeah, the flow was definitely not keeping up, and I think there was skipping and all this kind of stuff. And then when I learned to slow down, I was like, oh, this is how it works.
Yeah.
I do have one quick question. People are talking about the flex of a nib. When I was in school, I was always told if your nib flexes, you're pressing too hard, because the pen is supposed to write under its own weight, and you shouldn't have to press it down at all.
Right.
Yeah.
Bye, Natasha.
Bye.
Bye. The pressure, I know, you know, some nibs like the steel nibs, you can't get any flex out of it, but there's others where some flex is doable and acceptable, I guess you might say. But you can definitely overdo it, and at minimum you would get some railroading where, you know, there's two lines and nothing in between. And then the worst case scenario, you're going to damage the nib. So yeah.
There was a time that some of the vintage pens were really flexible back in the, I guess, 30s, 40s type of time, and they were gold nibs, and they're very flexible. They've had the history of that sort of thing. That was a very desirable thing for people to do that. But the general overall statement that you made is absolutely correct, William. It really is. All of my pens that I have, they all can write under their own weight of their own nib. If I just hold them by the end and just drag them, they're going to write. And that's really kind of what a fountain pen is actually made for. But the flexing and that sort of thing is, a lot of times artists and calligraphers will use dip pens that have a very flexible nib. I think the G something or other nib that you can buy was that way. But today's nibs really aren't made for doing that very well. There's a couple of them that are out there that are trying to do some of it. I think Noodlers makes one, and I think Fountain Pen Revolution has one that's supposedly supposed to be real flexible. But yeah, that's really kind of what they've got out there for today. But generally speaking, fountain pens is, as like Gregory was saying, is absolutely right. If you go too far, you could very easily damage it, you know. And some of these, especially when you start getting into gold nibs, if you get into any gold nibs or anything, you're talking about some pretty good sized dollars there. You know, so you don't want to do that. I've got a pilot, I'm not a pilot, a sailor. You can see right here, this is a Sailor 1911 large. Well, it's got a 21 karat gold nib in it. And, you know, you start getting into some money whenever you start buying gold nibs, of course, because it fluctuates with the price of the gold.
Exactly.
So, you know, I would really hate to damage that nib. But I do like that pen. It's one of my favorites. But I do really enjoy it.
Yeah.
Yes. My mom
has what they call an OmniFlex. It's a steel flex nib that's pretty decent. I think they just switched over, and their nibs are made by Juo now. And then Peniter has what they call a quill nib. And I've got one of those. It's a fantastic flex nib. almost more flex than what some of the vintage Watermans and Eversharps were. So
Who made that?
yeah, I mean, it's expensive when you start getting into some of those. The Conklin's is pretty cheap, but yeah, the quill nibs are a little more expensive.
Who makes the quill nib?
Peniter.
Very good.
So thinking about feather quills pins, has anyone ever tried to take a small little coffee stir stick, the little 1/8-inch diameter black ones, and with a razor knife, shave it into a quill nib? I wonder if that would actually work.
Interesting.
Might be too
You
flexible.
should make a video of that.
I should try to make a video of that. You could buy a whole
We did
bundle
feathers,
of these
but-
for like $1 at the store, right? These little
Right,
coffee
right.
stir sticks.
That's interesting.
It'll be the next revolution in dip pins. Coffee stir stick dip pins.
Yeah, that's a little.
Well, they're
Yeah.
about the same size as a bird
Yeah,
feather quill.
that's
right?
true. That's true.
You can get turkey feathers at Michael's and make pens out of them.
Yeah, yeah. So you could go to Starbucks and get to do the same thing. See,
For free.
And it's cruelty free too.
cruelty free. I'm going to sign off, everybody. It was a lot of fun. It's good seeing everybody
Good
out
to
there.
see
Thank you so
Joe.
much,
Bye,
Joe.
Joe.
Bye.
Look forward to next time. Thank you, Joe.
Did you find that screw, May? by the way?
No, I'm looking
No?
in my tool bag. It might have
Okay.
fallen in my tool.
Oh.
So
Okay.
it's a good
Well,
way to
good
help
luck.
me organize my tools.
Let us know next week if you find
Oh
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Either
Goodbye,
that, I'll be
everybody.
looking
Bye.
for parts.
Bye, Joe.
All
It's
right.
always
Does
great to
anyone
have
else
Joe with
have any typing prompts or questions or comments or stories or show and tell? Any of that? No. All right. Well, Indra, how was your dinner?
It was good.
And that's that. So with that, I think we'll end Typewriter Club Live, knowing that Indra had a good dinner.
Good dinner. May still can't find her screw.
I know. Well,
Kara got
later.
and I guess I'll have to watch the earlier part to see.
Oh, yeah.
Good news. So, but thank
right.
you as always, Gregory. This is
Yeah, definitely,
Yeah,
definitely.
thank you.
Yeah, so
All right.
thank you everybody, and it's been a pleasure as always, and we will see you again next week.
All right.
So, thank you for being
All
here.
right.
See y'all later.
Bye, everyone.
All right.
Bye.
Again.
Bye.
Bye.